its terms, and as you said, those percentages or the statistics have all been in the back half, chipping, handballing, and trying to create something from Hawthorn.
Alan Didak with his first, Collingwood's third. 9-point ball game. We're back in the middle. Josh Fraser on for his first run. Everett, bounce favoured him, got the hand on it towards Crawford. Closing late was Egan. Crawford went to ground. Lockyer, can he keep it in? Yes, he does. Handballs over the top. Oh, slick hands, Holland. Egan, the youngster, getting involved. Grills the kick. Couldn't make Travis Cloak. Might have impeded onto Chris Tarrant. Tarrant has another go. Can go backwards to Morrison. Can go short to Fraser. Kick too much on it. The infringer on Osborne. Went to ground. Ball towards the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in.
Mick Malthouse in his press conference after the game last week made the point these players will only get better once they play together for a while and they learn where each other lead, learn where each other run. At that time, Tarrant and Cloak had exactly the same thought, got in each other's way.
Tell you what, Campbell Brown is giving Blake Carosello a lot of room to work in at the moment.
Tarrant over the top. Ball ricochets. Cloak. Handball. Dispossessed. The Hawks. Well, they haven't got out of the defensive 50 yet. Lockyer with the lunging tackle to Crode. To Ladson. Handball to Franklin.
What?
Still not out of the danger zone. Mitchell, lovely little handball over to Ladson. He can go now. Williams on the lead. He's got a half a yard on Prestigiacomo. Bouncing ball, though. Collingwood with the numbers. Cool in a crisis, Clement. Stood up in the tackle. Well done, Williams. And rewarded, holding the ball. Good pressure from the key forward for the Hawks, Tony.
Well, I was just thinking then, gee, they are just so dependent on Mark Williams as a marking option, and the only option that, you know, it's been breaking down. But then the follow-up like he did, that just shows he's thinking, he's really on top of his game at the moment. He's kicking goals, but he's also doing it defensively. That is a brilliant tackle.
You don't always have to hit the target. The kick can favour the forward, even if it hits the ground.
And they're trying, I would think Hawthorn, although they had all the stats, the thing about they've also been trying to be a little bit cute, as in they're trying to hit the target. We know it's a very windy day out there.
For his second important goal for the Hawks. Starts left, comes back right. It's a wonderful kick. And he's got two.
He is a super kick. He is a super kick because I don't think that was an easy shot because there's a gap where the grandstands haven't joined up here at the MCG. A lot of wind coming through that pocket. But let's see it again. Yeah, it's not a good kick at ground level. Prestigiacomo looks like he can go on the lead. But there's James Clement trying to break through. Had to be holding the ball. And well done to Mark Williams to create a goal for yourself defensively instead of offensively.
Let's head down to Glenn Manton.
The flags about the ground may indicate the wind coming from the southwest, but I can tell you from ground level that it is incredibly swirly and is really highlighting the need to concentrate on those foot skills.
Any end that it favours there?
Look, I don't think it does. I think it really does swirl around at ground level, and as you mentioned, Tony, the hole in the grandstand provides an impetus for the wind to really pick up at times.
Josh Fraser into the ruck for the Pies. Mark Williams needs to be a good kick. Their forward structure is completely about him. You look at the contrast at the other end. Collingwood have got Rusling, Tarrant, Cloak, Egan, all inside 50. They've got multiple options, different game plans. It makes for interesting footy. Mitchell to Crawford. Hawks peel away again. It's Ladson on centre wing. Down the line he chips. Good hard running, and it's rewarded from Brennan. Wants to move it on. Mitchell. Brennan. Awful kick from just outside 50. Socket off the deck by Fraser. Ricochets to Lockyer. Now Fraser onto O'Brien around the wing. Carosello needs to mark this. He's going to be outnumbered. It spills to Ladson. They link up again by hand. They throw it around the Hawks. Campbell Brown pokes it down the line and Brennan has it. They're working very, very hard.
He's got Spider in the forward pocket with Reece Shaw. There's
another terrible kick from Brennan. Mitchell over the head of Osborne. That floated. Gives the Pies half a chance, but now it opens up for Jacobs. Blind turn through the middle. Crode was good awareness. That wasn't good awareness. We spoke of the speed of Sean Rusling, and we saw it there. Ran him down cold.
And the other thing, the Hawthorn side just being too cute with possession. Gee, this is a dangerous kick, but well done to Rusling.
Beautiful kick. First kick in league football to Rusling. He earned it. Cloak, high ball, one-on-one. Carosello couldn't hang on. Didak to tidy up. Wants the left and gets it. Free kick in the back.
Oh, there could be a free kick too after the... There's a free kick. Osborne has dumped Didak. I wonder if the umpire said it was after the kick because he could have another kick.
He's paid advantage goal.
Clear.
Alan Didak gets his second. Collingwood playing irresistible football at the moment. Glenn mentioned the swirly conditions. It makes for danger when you play a high disposal game like the Hawks are at the moment.
Gee, these two positions with Campbell Brown on Carousel, I said he was giving him too much space, and Didak now has kicked his second on Osborne, and you can rough a player up as much as you like, but if I was Alan Didak, I'd be turning around saying, just have a look at that scoreboard and say that I've got 2 goals very early in this game.
I don't think he'd have to say anything, Tony. He'll know, and he'll certainly know.
Yeah, but it makes you feel good, one.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, smoking like a small forward that you were. Morrison. Quickly towards half forward, bouncing ball. Rusling coming through another youngster. Egan couldn't affect the tackle. They're there in numbers, Collingwood, but Crode breaks away from the pack. Dangerous handball. Lockyer closing. The Pies' pressure has been nothing short of sensational. Crawford, Lockyer got there. Arriving late, O'Brien. Was it a free? Yes, took him too high.
Tell you what, this pressure the Pies have put, could reverse the free kick here, but no. They're just, Michael Osborne, he has to pull his head in. He's lost the plot at the moment. I'll be sending a message out if I was the coach. Hey, when we're in control of the ball, you do nothing to give the ball up.
Umpire Darren Goldspink just letting the Hawthorn players know there, you've won the free kick, let's not reverse it. His partners in crime today, Davis and Quigley.
Rick Ladson too is having a go physically, so a number of players from the Hawthorn side are just losing the plot at the moment. Got to settle down.
Lewis. Across half back. He's got Clark. Kick will need to be good, and his second attempt takes the mark. Hodge working hard, keeps the ball low. It's a good lead. He's got Reese short, arriving late. She was short. Couldn't affect the spoil.
I don't know about this style of play with Hawthorn. It's great to reward each other and use a lot of the ball, but sometimes you just got to get it in one-on-one for your forwards.
Gives you an indication of what's ahead of Nick Reese, so he decides to switch it laterally. It's a good option too. He's got Jacobs inside the centre circle. Steers the ball towards Crawford. Got rid of his opponent for the moment. Holland, bouncing ball. The former skipper, what does he do? Unselfishly centres the ball. Good pick up by Dixon. Goes back to Crawford. Measures the kick. Oh, couldn't take the mark on that occasion was Taylor. And Swan relieves for Collingwood for the moment. Oh, sits the ball up for Terrett. They're not out of danger yet, the Magpies. Crawford this time goes short. But arriving late, Prestigiacomo.
Getting an insight into what's going through Alistair Clarkson's mind at the moment, Tony. They've reverted to a more conventional forward line structure now, Hawthorn, where they've got 3 or 4 targets inside 50. Probably just feeling it was a little predictable.
No, that's right. And it let them down early in this game.
Fraser, Swan, wrapped up by Mitchell, one of the best tacklers going around. Ball spills free. Danger here. O'Brien gets there first to save the day for the Pies. Handball found Reece Shaw, stepped inside Reece. Handball off the shins of Morrison under pressure. Went to the voice of Johnson.
Free kick.
Lewis, free kick coming back. Tackle lingered on Ben Johnson. He'll get it at defensive 50.
You talk about possessions. 40 more possessions, Hawthorn, but you're nearly 2 goals down, or a goal and a half down, so it has shown that efficiency could win this game.
Well, it's been handballs and short kicks. Short kicks 31-14. Handballs 50-18. That's where it's come from. And a lot of going around in circles in tight space. Here's Holland to Swan. Pokes it out wide. Reece Shaw's run hard off half-back to create. Shaw wants to get round onto his right boot from 55. Fraser snuck forward. And that could be 50 as well.
I think it has to be, because you cannot take the play to the ground. Now, I don't know whether I'm seeing this, but you think they've lost the plot. And they were trying to be aggressive. You just know it's what the rule is. It's time wasting. They mark the ball, and when they mark it, you cannot take it in the ground because you're stopping them. And that's the reason they say they call it time wasting, but it has to be 50-metre penalty.
So Josh Fraser back for his 3rd game. He's had knee trouble so far this season. Gives the Pies a 15-point lead. And that's probably a fair reflection of where this contest's been in the opening term. It's been entertaining, it's been intense. But as we've said a couple of times, Tony, it's been played on Collingwood's terms.
Well, it has, and you're right about the structure of Hawthorn. As I look back, they're now pushing 3 or 4 players, and Everett's one of them, into their forward line. Reece Shaw just gets inside here, and Josh Fraser did very well. Just push forward to Simon Taylor. You have to be goal side of your man. And Simon Taylor probably thought he didn't do a lot wrong there, Wayne.
No, he didn't. Look, the key there for Reece Shaw was the fact you've got to know your opposition numbers' strengths. He doesn't kick on his left foot. You've got to give him the outside and make him kick on his left-hand side, allowing him to come in using his dominant foot, spotted up Fraser goal.
Well, you're right. Your efficiency's better on your dominant foot, and he should have been pushed out to the boundary line.
Dream start for the Magpies. 5 straight. Burns extracts it to the goal kicker, Fraser. Around the corner towards Rusling. Jacobs has to wait. Tarrant, the tackle. Collingwood numbers. Holland tips the ball up towards Cloak. Play on's the call. No mark paid. On his hands and knees. Egan, the excitement machine. It's a hot ball at the moment. Egan got involved again. Holland for Collingwood 6. Got it.
Irresistible is the word at the moment, Tony. They're playing a ferocious brand of football, hunting in numbers, and the Hawks just cannot get time and space to do anything meaningful with the football.
No, well, look, they've gone to Perth and they had a big win last week. You just wonder how they came into this game, the thinking, you know, with Collingwood on the bottom of the ladder. But it's good to see a couple of youngsters. Chris Egan, Sean Rusling's done a couple of very good things, and Holland on his non-preferred. But you're right, it is the pressure. A lot of Hawthorn defenders have fumbled because of preferred pressure, which means it's not there, but you think it's there. So the Pies are just on a high as what they were last week.
Plenty of inferred pressure from the Magpies. The good thing about it for the youngsters, it's something that can get sucked along with, isn't it, Tony? Just the momentum and the pressure and the excitement and the desperation.
It is a free kick against. Another thing about the lack of discipline in Hawthorn at the moment.
Fraser goes long. Cloak underneath it. Tarrant over the top. Cloak! Great contested mark. May have been a little unlucky a minute or two ago not to be paid the last effort. But the youngsters grow in confidence when they see the game is all just about contesting. Whether you win the football or not, you get out there, you hunt in numbers, you've got support, you've got players around you doing the same thing. You can just get on board for the ride.
Well, it just becomes a thing you cannot stop. It's like a tidal wave. The thing about it, I couldn't believe this matchup. I thought Trent Crowe suited Travis Cloak. I don't know why Jonathan Hay isn't playing on Tarrant, thinking maybe that Tarrant's playing away from goal.
Travis Cloak for Collingwood's 7th straight. Lots the copybook. Minor score.
That's a let-off. That is a real let-off because being so dominant, you've got to make it count on the scoreboard.
She's got an exciting forward structure going forward, Collingwood. Tarrant, you haven't seen enough of Rusling to make a judgment yet, but Travis Cloak, you get the feeling he's been a very good hit-up player at centre-half forward. Dangerous kick. Burns again, the pressure gives away the free kick on this occasion. It'll come back to Crawford, but the pieces are falling into place with the likes of Carousella, Didak at ground level. You've got Cloak, Tarrant, Rusling, Cameron Cloak, Josh Fraser pushing forward. There's plenty of options going forward for the Pies.
Great corner for the Pies.
Great pressure from Collingwood. We wondered, could they replicate the intensity and ferocity they showed last week? Well, the answer is a resounding yes in that opening term. They mauled the Hawks in that first quarter. Collingwood 6-1-37. Hawthorn 2-3-15. Didak has 2 for the Pies. Singles to Holland, Carousella, Fraser and Travis Cloak. Mark Williams has Hawthorn's 2 goals. Exciting game of football.
Gee, just watching the huddle, and it is amazing. The Hawthorn players are still going verbally at the Collingwood players, but I can tell you, it was Campbell Brown. They've all held him together, the Hawthorn players, because he has lost the plot. They had to become more disciplined, the Hawks.
Different kind of pressure for the Hawks this afternoon. So far this year, they have been the hunters week in, week out. Today, they are the hunted. How will they respond? The Pies by 22 points at quarter time.
Coming up after the game, stay with Fox Footy Channel for more Saturday Central with Jason Dunstall and Wayne Carey. The boys have more highlights and studio guests and a look ahead to the remaining matches this weekend. Saturday Central, coming up on Fox Footy Channel. Can't catch every game? Then watch The Winners.
We'll recap on everything you need to know on every game.
Every Sunday night from 7:30, get all the highlights, stats and post-match reaction from every game with this week's host, Jim Wilson.
It's footy's ultimate wrap every Sunday.
The Winners, Sunday at 7:30 local on Fox Footy Channel.
The Sunday Age welcomes Toby Coleman and the AFL Mascot Manor team. Follow their adventures every week in Preview magazine, starting this Sunday.
Mine! Sorry, boys, it's mine!
Actually, it's yours. And this week, you'll find 28 full-colour fun footy pages of the official AFL Mascot Manor comic book, free in the Sunday Age.
You're gonna die! I've never seen anything like this. His ass is immense. Dougie just refuses to drink any other bourbon. You know what we're witnessing here tonight? We're witnessing a man staying true to the world's finest bourbon.
Tarrant comes hard. It takes a spectacular mark.
At HSBC, we're like the teams we sponsor. We're multi-skilled. We compete with big players around Australia and around the world. With a full range of banking products to get you over the line. That's why we're the world's local bank.
Toyota Hilux, the world's first action utility vehicle. And the first ever V6 4x2 Hilux, delivering 175 kilowatts of power. Get in or get out of the way.
Hey kids, looking for the best half hour of TV every week? Oh yeah. Join Brad Johnson, Matty Lloyd, Big Footy and all your favourite AFL stars on Oz Kicking Around, Wednesday on Fox Footy Channel. In Wednesday's Fox Footy feature, part 2 of another exclusive open mic with Spider Everett. Herald Sun chief football writer Mike Sheehan looks back on that run-in with Scott Chisholm.
I think after that you learn a lot. I got taunted for months and months and still to this day about being a racist.
Pre-season on the Kokoda Trail.
Did it take you to breaking point? Very close. I was about 3 steps away.
And his own public perception.
I think I've actually surprised a lot of people with the kind of person I am.
Wednesday on Fox Footy Channel, where AFL is everything.
Gee, looks like a player, doesn't he? Travis Cloke, leading stat getter for the Pies in the first quarter with Shane O'Brien. 7 touches for Cloke, 4 marks, 3 inside 50s and 1 goal, 1. He's the missing link in that Collingwood forward line that can get out and be the hit-up player across half forward. The Pies outstanding in that opening term, just hunting in numbers, forcing the Hawks to go round in circles, putting them under enormous pressure. Up until now, the Hawks in the last 4 weeks have prided themselves on being very, very good starters. But today, they were just out-pressured by Collingwood in that opening term. Alistair Clarkson laying down the law. Tony, what would be the message?
I think they've come into this game thinking maybe they were a bit ahead of themselves. You know, they've had a couple of good wins, especially against Fremantle on the road. Yeah, and you come back from there, you might be flat, but I think he's saying, hey, let's pull the heads in and let's play a bit more direct.
Let's head down to Glenn Manton.
Thanks, Jason. I think Tony's absolutely spot on. Any AFL team has to be something more than a one-trick pony, and certainly from the boundary line, it appeared that physical intimidation was the theme for the Hawthorn Football Club today. If they're to go anywhere in this game, they really have to switch on, move the ball more constructively through the midfield and get it into their potent forward, who looked out of sorts with the space around him. He looks much more comfortable in traffic where he has other big bodies to work off and create his own lead and space.
One other game of round 10 action on this afternoon. Geelong taking on Freo at Skilled Stadium. Replays coming up on Fox Footy, so if you don't want to know the score, look away now. You'll see that game later on this evening on Fox. Set for the second term at the MCG. Collingwood by 22 points. Can the Hawks respond in this second term? Everett in the ruck, got the tap down to Mitchell. Did it beautifully going the other way. Wheeled around onto the left boot. Out towards half forward. Franklin flew. Couldn't quite haul it in. Clement in over the top. Holding the ball. What Hawthorn have to do here, Tony, in this quarter is get back to being the hunters again. Start to put the pressure back at Collingwood's feet.
Well, they do, and I think you just saw exactly what I was talking about, kicking the ball long. Sammy Mitchell just came out of the centre and put it on his boot and said, get it in the forward line quickly.
Clement links up with Didak, gets it back. Advantage against Franklin. Over the top, loose man here for the Pies. It's Wakelin around the southern stand wing. Time to set up, couple of bounces. Assesses the options, goes long. Travis Cloak again the target. In front this time was Jacobs. Holland piles in over the top of him. Will have a bounce. 45 metres out from the Collingwood goal. Possessions in that opening term, 103 to 78 in favour of Hawthorn. As we've mentioned, it's the quality of possessions, not the quantity, that matters in this game. Everett and Fraser, nil-all draw in the ruck. Bateman picked it off at ground level. Under pressure, handball to Clark. Quick hands to Crawford. Heads towards the boundary. Have a throw in.
Gee, the numbers up the ground. Hawthorn are still getting numbers in the back half. There is only one person, and that is Williams in the forward 50. Oh, sorry, backward of the centre circle for Hawthorn. They had to kick goals to win this game or get back into the game.
Everett. Mitchell, 3 or 4 bites of the cherry. Finally gets it to Bateman. He tucks the ball under his arm and he's away. Steers the kick to Franklin. Everett has to wait. Well, the handball doesn't do his taller, younger teammate any favours whatsoever. Collingwood with the numbers. Rowe. Arriving late was Franklin. Good contest, a couple of young players at AFL level, and will have a bounce out of side of the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if you're a coach and things haven't worked for you so far, Sir Clarkson. I thought it was a smart handball from Everett, but it just shows they run the pressure, don't they? They have to invent things when he handballed through the legs.
A lot of numbers around the ball. Going Goldsmith, take 2. The Magpies, 22 points in front. No addition to the quarter-time scores. It's high ball from Rowe. Hodge read it well. Takes a relieving mark across half-back. Centres the ball to Crode. Hodge will link up around the back. Ignored. Now Crode decides to go. Heads towards the interchange side of the ground. It is Tony. Bouncing ball for Smith. Egan. Well, fortuitously or intentionally, either way it looked good, but the kick lets himself down. Straight down the throat of James Clement.
That's his 4th clanger. Joel Smith, you don't see that very often. 4th clanger in this game.
Normally a wonderful user across half-back, Joel Smith. Clement. High ball. Caracella stood out number 2-1 and took the strong mark. Chance to go back and kick the first goal of the second quarter.
He's a dangerous player, isn't he? I think it was Luke Hodge. Is it Hodge who's gone for the mark here and should have... Well, he didn't know whether he had the punch or not. He thought he had front position, but Caracella just snuck in there, got his body in front, and, gee, not good signs for the Hawks.
3 Hawthorn teammates there, Tony.
Yeah,
you would like to thought
out.
There was some talk or a block, but nonetheless, this man here will line up for his second, the first of the second term here to put Collingwood 28 points in front. Will kick from right on 50, Blake Caracella. He is nothing short of a lovely kick of the football. He's got his second.
Well, they've got to get some control of this game. I think they're still getting enough of it around the midfield, but it's handball. The pressure is that the forwards are not having an impact for Hawthorn. As soon as it comes to half-back or their half-forward line, the rebound from Clement, Wakelin's been good, Shaw's been good, so they've had a number of players who are rebounding out of that area, and the forwards aren't putting pressure on, where Collingwood's forward line at the other end are doing a great job in that area.
On Saturday afternoon football, here's Glenn Manton.
4 Hawks in that contest. I'm 4 or 5 metres away from it. No voice, nothing to say, just a lot of underestimation and a lot of fake faces.
They've got to change the script here, Hawthorn. This has got smacking written all over it at the moment. Free kick out of the middle to Everett. Can they get something started? They just need to turn the tide of the game, take it away from Collingwood's terms. Everett goes long up the middle. Dixon leads out, did well, couldn't quite hang on in the end. At ground level numbers there for the Pies. Swan links up with Maxwell. Heads to open space in the sanctuary of the boundary line for a throw-in. Southern side of the ground.
Gee, Blake Caracella, we can see him just there. He is there. He was probably 20 metres clear. You cannot allow him to have that space. I'm just trying to see. And here Campbell Brown will come into now and pick him up. You can just see on the left-hand corner of your screen, giving him 60 metres.
Everett tries to paddle it at ground level. Mitchell crashes in.
I think that's a sign, isn't it? When you've got a defender that far, I know you might run off sometimes, but gee, this bloke's had an impact. You know, Caracella's kicked his 2 goals early in the game. You've got to shut it down. And there's Blake Caracella giving it to Campbell Brown, saying, you're not tight enough, son.
Everett tried to palm into the path of Vandenberg. Mitchell in the back against Scotty Burns. Mitchell got in first, put his body in, won himself a free kick. He's up to 14 touches, Mitchell. Doesn't want to give it away here.
See, the
Hawks are frustrated.
Collingwood are getting in their heads at the moment. They just want to fight.
Mitchell goes short to Crawford. They need some leadership from those senior players. Plenty of the football need to have an influence with it. Franklin. Punch away from Wakeland at ground level. Look at the numbers for the Pies. They'll be the first 4 blokes to get to this football. Cloak went to link up with Caracella, has got some time. Still got Caracella inside 50. Will go deep to a one-on-one. May not have been the best option. Collingwood still with numbers. Here is Caracella on the end of it. Back to Tarrant from 55. Measures it, launches it, buries it! Great kick! The Pies are indeed hot at the MCG. They lead by 34 points. 6.5 minutes into the second term. And the difference couldn't be more stark, Tony. Coming off half-back, Collingwood are running hard to create and support. Hawthorn just can't find that time and space. Well,
we've got to come back a bit from that goal from Tarrant, a great finish as it was, because Shane Crawford had the ball in the centre of the ground. He kicked it to a one-on-one at the 50-metre arc, wide, instead of going to the hot spot. And that's where the rebound was. 4 or 5 Collingwood players. It's time for a change. Campbell Brown has to be shifted, I would think, off Blake Caracella, because he should have got the first handball from Travis Cloak, missed him, and then he set up the other handball to Tarrant.
Kicked the last 5, Collingwood. The last 3 in the first term. They've kicked the first 2 of the second term. Mitchell took the ball out of the centre square. The kick was intended for Dixon. Nick Maxwell, fortunately, but the kick there just needed to hit the target because the Hawks are under the pump. They're not going inside forward 50, Tony, with any great authority. And that's due. There's a free kick off the ball. Nick Rees will take the free kick.
Oh, Scotty Burns, no. It looks like. It looks like Scotty Burns that Mitchell, or is it Rees?
Rees.
And the umpire said that Scotty Burns tapped him across the face. Now, gee, we've seen Hawthorn lose the plot. I think Mick Moldhouse would not be happy because they're in control that you give away an easy goal to give them a snippet of confidence.
Just the little things,
aren't
look what happens there. Bit by bit, there it was, top of screen.
Gee, the umpire there, you could... Don't even say that was against Scotty Burns. That was soft.
Important kick for Nick Rees and his team. It's a good kick off the boot. The Hawks get the first of the second term. Nick Rees has his first. But that happens, and a dejected Scotty Burns, and has every right to be, but that happens 100 times a game, Tony, between 2 opposing players.
Now, I know what Mick Moldhouse is thinking. Here he is on the phone. Mick Moldhouse, I don't know whether he's seen that replay, but I didn't think that was a free kick. I thought Burns here maybe was undisciplined, but in the end we saw the replay. That was as soft a free kick you'll get. And Mick Moldhouse might have a look at the replay later before half-time and say, I'm sorry, mate, I made a mistake. But great camera work from our boys there to just see Scotty Burns straight on the blower. And Scotty be saying, mate, I did nothing.
So the Hawks will be hoping that's a turning point. The margin back to 28 points. 9 minutes gone, second term. Osborne and Didak have been into each other from the outset.
Didak's winning that battle, though. 2 goals. So it's
ready to simmer, isn't it, this game? It is ready to go. Hawthorn need to focus and channel that energy into some goals. Fraser got it down. Johnson hoiks it forward for the Pies. At ground level, Jacobs tracks it. Picked off by Caracella, a fumble. Jacobs takes him down. Handball into space. Didak tries to sock it to his own advantage. Here's Johnson on the left. Little handball, linked up with Tarrant. Spun through the traffic and gives it back to Didak. Long ball inside 50. Clears the contest. Morrison couldn't quite hang on. Opportunity goes begging. The fend-off from Hodge on Egan. They are under enormous pressure again. Crawford run down by Cloak. Vandenberg taken out of it. Hodge, Cloak, Vandenberg. Cloak another tackle. Ball up.
That is
Intensity with a capital I as we head down to Glen Manton.
Well, I'm just wondering, Jason, you're a statistical genius. Is there a statistic for underground handballs? I don't think I've seen a team rely on underground handballs as much as Hawthorn today.
Usually running at about 38.3%, Mance. I have absolutely no idea. We'll have another bounce.
I tell you, I've seen Collingwood the last 2 weeks, this week and last week, and their pressure is as good as I've seen in a couple of years at the club.
Everett the tap. Wins it at ground level. Crode, Crawford. Hawks need some momentum. Franklin. They just need some time in possession to string together some meaningful chain of possession.
James Clement's a loose man behind play now. That's why he can't kick this ball. He has to go over the line.
He's flummoxed. Here's Franklin. Handball over the top to Mitchell. Eager to run him down. Have to throw it backwards. It's like a basketball zone at the moment. They cannot penetrate.
That's a dangerous kick.
Dixon had to go and did well. It could open up now for the Hawks. Hodge from 55. Open goal square. Bounces through. They've manufactured a goal. Well, they rolled the dice with a kick inboard, Tony, and sometimes on those 50-50 balls, if you do win it, suddenly it can open up, and it did for Luke Hodge. The path opened and he converted.
Well, they didn't win it because Dixon was the target and it was spoiled. Look at that. That is a dangerous kick. The rebound will kill you. They kept it in. Dixon then finished up at ground level, and a player of Hodge's class. He's watching this. He's riding this all the way and just snuck in. Could have been a skim of paint on that ball, I would think. But, gee, just 2 goals against the trend. One from a free kick that we think wasn't there, but that one was the class of Luke Hodge.
Back-to-back goals for the first time for the Hawks. And the margin back to 22 points.
Luke Hodge with his season tally now going to 5 goals for. First goal for the afternoon. Also has 14 possessions.
Sam Mitchell, 16 possessions to this stage.
And Ping for holding the ball. Ben Johnson, the recipient.
It's not about quantity today, though, is it, Tony?
No.
Short, dangerous kick. The Hawks through Mitchell. Heavy traffic. Got a handball out to the goal scorer. Hodge has a teammate now. That's rough head. Short kick towards Williams. Prestigiacomo did well. Did very well. Reece Shaw, clean bowl. Coming through Williams. Good second attempt. Got a handball over to Clark. He's got some time. Tim Clark doesn't have a shot at goal. Smart play, didn't blaze away, and found Ben Dixon.
It's turning, and it's turning on the back of intensity. As we said at the start of the term, they are now becoming the hunters, the Hawks.
Well, Reece Shaw made a mistake just outside 50. He got clean bowl where he should have taken possessions, but you're right, it's coming from the middle of the ground. Even though the whole game, we've said they've had a bit of control there. It's been this disposal, which has been their problem. Now, Dixon, this is a really big goal. 3 unanswered goals for the Hawks. If he kicks it.
For his first. The Hawks' third of the term, he's got it. Ben Dixon, and you said, Jason, the tide has started to turn in favour of Hawthorn.
It's tantalising now, isn't it? Setting itself up beautifully this game. The margin back to 16 points. Hawthorn showing some character in this second term, and just Tony rolling up the sleeves. That's what they're doing, just going in, having a go.
There's similarities to last week's game against the West Coast. When we were here, Jason, Collingwood, West Coast came out in the second quarter again, and Collingwood started off well, but look, it's just now the couple of little things have gone their way. A bit of luck, as I said, just a slip of paint on that ball where Hodge kicks that goal, a free kick, and then Reece Shaw just overran the ball.
Hope you're enjoying it wherever you might be watching around Australia. Thanks for having us at your place. It's shaping as a great game. Back to 16 points midway through this second term.
Joel Smith loose in the Hawthorn defence, and you've got Dane Swan for Collingwood up his defensive end.
Everett picked off by O'Brien, ran into Holland, had some support. It's in the form of Swan, tucked it under the arm, went for a run. Pokes it inside 50. Hawthorn with numbers back. Here's Rusling at the back of the contest for the Pies. Crowberg, the angle, wasn't out on the full, it was. Well, he did everything right to that point. He worked the angle beautifully, got it to the line, and it just came off his toes. And a chance here for the Magpies to just stop Hawthorn's run of goals at 3. It's Sean Rusling. This will be his second kick in league football. His best in junior footy, 14 goals. Playing just his 6th game this afternoon of any sort of senior football in his entire career. He just pushes it across the face.
And that would have been the 632nd player with their second kick in league football to kick a goal if it was successful.
Thank you very much,
and if you
Tony
believe
Shaw.
that, you'll believe anything. Well, mate. I was just looking at Wayne's face and he goes, how did he know that stat?
You didn't even know some players you played against, Tony. How did you know a stat like that?
Hodge from the kick in.
Oh, gee, they flirt with it, don't they, the Hawks? They've got confidence at the moment.
They've got to get out of their shell and attack and show some flair to go with that intensity.
More directness with the flair. That's what they need. Just holding onto the ball to see if we can switch the play.
Vital 10 minutes in this contest, you sense, between now and half-time. Can Hawthorn maintain that momentum? When they've got the run of play, can they convert it? They've done pretty well so far in this second term. Crawford throws it wide to Mitchell. Now down the line to Clark. Holds and sets up.
I tell you what, you want to be a midfielder in this Hawthorn side at the moment because they keep using the ball and you will get a lot of possession, a lot of stats, and the switch is on.
Forget the numbers this afternoon. It's all about quality. Here's Hay receiving from Crawford. Awkward kick inside 50. Williams will get there on the second bounce off his boot. Gathered by Swan. Again, look at the numbers for Hawthorn. There's 4-1 around this ball. That's the important number at the moment. Williams chips it back inboard and finds Lewis. That's the telling tale at the moment. Lewis steps around one man, goes for goal. Put himself under enormous pressure by playing on there. And it's through for a minor score, but it's just numbers around the contest. The signs are there for Hawthorn.
They're coming, that is for sure. And we have Tony in the box as well. Clement. Good kick, Egan. He's got a loose player who's broken. That's Rowe. He's got some time. The ball sits up. Crawford will arrive. Allowed to play on. Reese in pursuit. Now Rowe just decides to go with a high, long ball. Hawthorn with the numbers. Brown got himself in front. Hodge cleans up for the moment. Loops the handball over to Ladson, who got a good shepherd. Everett out of sight of the ground now. The Hawks, their tails are up. Short, Ladson. Good work, followed up his earlier disposal. And that's a much better kick to Ditson. Got Roughhead. It's an half forward. Numbers back for the Magpies. Towards Williams. Gets in front of Prestigiacomo. Good spoil. Ball beats two Hawthorn players. Maxwell goes backwards. Still not out of trouble yet, the Magpies. Clement there to put pressure on. Some experience. Wrapping up. Franklin with a good tackle. And that's holding the ball.
I thought that was a bit harsh there. Wayne, you called it. How did you see it?
Well, I think you're absolutely spot on. I think
he made all the play, didn't he?
A bit quick to draw the pistol there and say a free kick. Look out, Presti. Well, there you go. That's justice. Franklin gets one back. No advantage. At least they're consistent. Good decision.
Well, that had to be dropping the ball or holding the ball, if you want to call it whatever, because he had prior opportunity. But I thought Franklin was very stiff in that last decision, as you called, Wayne. And when he played on Prestigiacomo, he doesn't want to kick the ball because he knows he doesn't do it well, but no doubt about that free kick.
Prior opportunity, Simon Prestigiacomo. Good pressure from the young man. He's played all 9 games.
He's a talent, isn't he?
A terrific talent. Much in the mould of Adam Goods without putting too much pressure on him. Franklin has his first. The Hawks have kicked the last 4. The margin now back to 10 points.
Well, what they've done, what's happened, it's an amazing thing, and I wonder, we'd just love to know what happened with Alistair Clarkson at quarter time, because he came straight to the huddle. He didn't split them up into their defence or midfield or forwards, and he had a lot to say, as we can see the replay. No doubt about the free kick. Simon Prestigiacomo didn't want to kick the ball, and no one there to receive the handball, and a lot of speed from Franklin from behind. But the message is taken in by the Hawks. As I said, maybe they were getting ahead of themselves after the success they've had in the last fortnight, and now they've fought their way back into this game.
Handball receives in this game 61-23 in favour of Hawthorn. They have run very, very hard, but in this quarter they've been able to run to create space as opposed to having to handball because they're under pressure. Swan poked it out in front of Egan. Now Cloak. Can the Pies respond? O'Brien inside 50. Again, numbers back for the Hawks. Rusling couldn't hang on. Smothered off the boot of Holland. Rusling goes again for Collingwood to force a contest. Lock it in. We'll have a bounce.
2 small passes to play there, Tony. A definitive spoil from a Hawthorn player, but a terrific smother. Something that wasn't in there in the first quarter for the Hawthorn
we
side.
saw Luke Hodge try and out-mark, and Caracella took a mark inside forward 50, so it's a change of attitude.
Fumble from Caracella. Appeared to linger on Ladson. In over the top now. And another bounce.
I just think with players, we go back to that holding the ball. You've got to protect and give opportunities to players who create the play. Don't be so quick to ping them for holding the ball.
Lots of players around this contest. Everett got the tap. Ladson smothered. Fanning did well. High ball. Swan goes back. He's got it. Plays on from 52 metres. Spears it inside. Couldn't hang on. Rusling. Jacobs run down, but released the handball to Bateman. Hawthorn away again. Here's Everett. He's got Lewis short. Good shepherd from Franklin. The run now comes from Reese. Shaw got across. Did well and picked it off.
Switches on.
But Hawthorn now running to support and create, more importantly. Rowe down the southern stand wing. It's an exciting contest at the moment. Tarrant. Quiet day so far for Chris Tarrant. On the left boot. High ball inside 50. Big Packer plays. Osborne over the top. Couldn't bring it down. Got a fantastic ride. Fraser in over the top. Is the Hawthorn player trying to get it out? Umpire bounces.
I saw you shake your head, Wayne Swass. What did you think?
I thought it was the wrong decision. He's had a terrible day thus far. A couple of free kicks. Look, that looks great if you take the mark.
Exactly.
But in the opposition forward 50, punch the ball.
As Johnson did then, up over the top. Tried to get it third man out. Everett couldn't get a handle on it. Lewis quick boot towards the line. Fanning takes off in pursuit. It'll sit up for him. Bateman to run him down. Fanning left it behind. Fanning was worried about the man. Bateman was worried about the ball, and now it evens itself up. Good effort from the big man. Lockyer, he's taken down. Ferocious tackle from Osborne. This game up for grabs at the moment. It's a good contest. O'Brien stumbles. Osborne pounces on him. Osborne goes again. Fanning wraps him up. Wakeland rides him. Play on call. Brennan in there. Wakeland in there, holding the ball.
Oh, umpire. In the spirit of this game,
they were all going at it, Shorey.
You had to ball that up in the spirit of the game.
It was a great contest between two sides, just trying to get the footy.
It's on behind play, Lockyer and Osborne.
It's been on the angry pills today, Michael Osborne. Dangerous kick from Wakeland, but it opens up the switch if Didak wants it. He's going to get run down. Step beside Reese. Brushed him away. And Swan's got it on centre wing. He's got a runner outside. Didak links up with Wakeland. Great smother from Everett. The Hawks doing the one-percenters in the second term. He's got Franklin on a break. He's got a man, Joel Smith, through the middle, and Franklin sees him. Great tackle, almost stuck. Williams under pressure. He's wrapped up. Two sides having a decent crack at the MCG. This is Saturday afternoon footy at its best.
Oh, it's alive and well. Maxwell, slick handball off to Didak. Both sides having a dead set crack. Kick towards Shaw, and it's a good one. He's got Lockyer if he moves it quickly. That's where he heads. The ball gets there. It's a nicely weighted kick as Hodge arrives late.
Gee, Franklin, just the abilities he's got and the speed. A good chase. I think it was Dane Swan, wasn't it, who just got a hand on Franklin's jumper from behind.
And again, it's inferred pressure, as you said before, Shaw. He didn't need to stick that tackle. He just needed to let him know he was there.
Yep.
Crowd certainly getting their money's worth.
Are they? What? It's lifted, hasn't it? The intensity's lifted from both sides.
The margin got out to 34 points during the second term. The Hawks have done well to trim it back to 10 points. Maxwell heads along towards the goal square. Tarrant! Whoa! Osborne did the discipline thing on this occasion. And Chris Tarrant, well, he still hasn't got up. He got up, there's no problems about the height, but he came down with just as much force. And I think Michael Osborne might have just landed on top of him in that contest.
Gee, he has a sit. Well, he doesn't look well, does he?
No. Top of the square for Collingwood. Hodge through the fingertips of Jonathan Hay for a rush behind.
Hopefully just winded Tarrant. He did land very awkwardly.
He's going on, so that's a good sign. Here it is.
Just in mid-air, just collided with Fraser in mid-air, and then Osborne straight down the front, the old horizontal shirt front. We don't see that often.
Oh, Clark's on, can run inside 50 and nearly kick a goal here.
Bateman to Clark. From 60 metres goes to Williams in the pocket. Got it! Let's have a look at the rifleman from out wide.
What about the kicking? How quick was that from goal to goal? I think that would have travelled in about 6 seconds.
I just want to talk about Timmy Clark's been absolutely sensational today. We talk about kicks to advantage. Mark Williams had broken here. The kick has to go to the left-hand side of the screen. That eradicates or takes out Prestigiacomo's spalling abilities. Terrific kick by Tim Clark. Great lesson for all budding footballers.
He's booted 2 goals, 1, Mark Williams. This for a real lifter just before half-time. That is a beautiful kick.
He is magnificent.
Precision from Mark Williams. He's got 3. The Hawks are back in it. And we have got a cracker right around Australia on Saturday afternoon football. Here's Tony Shaw.
Well, we've seen 2 crackers last week, the Pies and West Coast Eagles, and now the Hawks and the Pies, and they've got out to A good start. Chris Tarrant sitting on the bench at the moment. We can see him go for this mark. And Michael Osborne just fell full force on him, so might have winded him. And we might find out of Glenn Manton what's happening there. But, yeah, they have lifted the Hawks. They are really going at it. Glenn's down there.
Mant, you down there?
Yes, certainly am, Jason. I can tell you that Chris is just making his way past our position down here. He looks a little bit dejected, a little bit despondent after that goal that was scored by the Hawks. But remembering back to last week against the Eagles, he copped a heavy knock to his hip. Maybe it's a hip pointer. The physios also checked his jaw. But I think overall it was just a case of winding at the time.
Mitchell out of the centre square towards Clark. Good contest with Reece Shaw coming through. Nice handball there from the Hawthorn player in Brennan. Clark chips the kick. Williams, great spoil. Prestigiacomo butters up with a second attempt. Wakeland grabs him. Franklin towards Tim Clark. He's getting plenty of the ball.
Everett.
Terrific centering kick, Tim Clark.
Geez, had a great 10 minutes, hasn't he, Wayne?
If there's a highlight reel for Tim Clark this week, Tony Shaw, it's about all the unselfish, team-orientated things he's done. And he gets a bit of a pat on the back from Rick Gladson.
Well, the thing about Tim Clark is he's been a run-with on-baller for the last 8 or 12 months. And at the moment, he's playing across half-forward as a permanent forward and setting up goals.
Spider to put the Hawks in front for the first time. Oh, not on this occasion.
Unlike Spider, normally a very, very good kick for goal.
His first score for the afternoon are behind. The margin now 4 points.
Collingwood led by 34 points at the 8-minute mark of this term. It's now the 26.5-minute mark, and the Hawks are back in it. What a game. Clement took it outside defensive 50. Awkward kick down the line. Brennan couldn't hang on. Wakeland arrives to put some pressure on. Rolls him over. Lecura in there as well, and that's holding the ball.
Well, we might be able to have a look at that, but I thought the initial contact was over the shoulder from Wakeland, but they said, the umpire said he pulled it in after that. So the free kick paid against them.
Well,
they need to kick a goal. Collingwood need to kick a goal here just to stem the tide.
The umpire's a bit shell-shocked in this second term, and again, this is what we saw from Hawthorn in the opening term. Devoid of options when you have the football. Have to take a negative option.
Tell you what.
Egan goes back to Presti. Williams tries to corral him, back to Wakeland, needs to hang on and does. Gee, it was an important grab, because Hawthorn were lurking with numbers. This game has turned 180 degrees. Holland.
No Tarrant up forward now, so they're really struggling to get a marking option. Carousella's nearly playing out of the square for Collingwood.
Inboard to Clement. This game's had it all. It's had that ferocity and intensity that we just loved last week. When you come to the footy, it's what you want to see. Two teams just have a go, have a dip. Clement to 50. Chance for a late one for the Pies. Is there a free kick? It's going Hawthorn's way.
What a quarter.
What a half. What a magnificent half of football at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Collingwood led by 22 points at quarter time. They got out to a 34-point lead at the 8-minute mark of the second term. From there, Hawthorn booted 5 goals. And the margin at half-time, just 4 points. Collingwood 8-3-51. Hawthorn 7-5-47. For the Pies, Didak has 2, Carousella 2. Singles to Holland, Tarrant, Fraser and Cloak. While for the Hawks, 3 to Mark Williams. Singles to Hodge, Rees, Dixon and Franklin. And that's as good a half of football as you'd want to see, Shorey.
Oh, it was brilliant. I just want to know what Alistair Clarkson said to him at quarter time, because he gave him a mouthful and they have lifted. There's no doubt they just got ahead of themselves. Collingwood got out of the blocks, but gee, the Hawks pressure, they turn it around, and this game is on in the second half.
Beautifully poised at half-time, isn't it? 4 points the margin.
Coming up after the game, stay with Fox Footy Channel for more Saturday Central with Jason Dunstall and Wayne Carey. The boys have more highlights and studio guests and a look ahead to the remaining matches this weekend. Saturday Central, coming up on Fox Footy Channel. Sunday, the Premiership favourites take on the reigning premiers as West Coast clashes with Port Adelaide live from Subiaco Oval at 4:30.
Easy as you like.
Last time they met, the Power were too strong.
He's excited and loaded up.
Now, Woosh's Eagles are out for vengeance.
Raining goals for the Eagles.
Take control. Press web to go Fox Footy Active and join the game's #1 commentary team. Your Sunday starts at 4:30 with the Eagles and Power live. Then the winners' weekend wrap, followed by the Bombers and Bulldogs, then the Crows and Blues.
Hungry Jack's, where it's at, Hungry Jack's. The big, juicy burger that started it all. The legendary Whopper. I like that. 100% flame-grilled beef with pickles, ketchup, onion, tomato, lettuce and mayo. Legendary.
Love it at Hungry Jack's. Love it at Hungry Jack's.
The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Clean up at Bunnings Warehouse with the lowest prices every day. Click 4-way power board with dust cover, just $8.50. GMC electric hedge trimmer, a low $39.99. Aluminium work platform, only $59. 2 kilo first aid lawn repair kit, a low $9.95. Parfix all-purpose silicone, just $4.98. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Premium light. Some drink it because they're responsible.
What? There's a chance of rain. It's a little bit dry and wet underfoot all at the same time in places across this ground. It's very unpredictable out on the field. But one thing we can predict is that feathers will, in fact, fly in this second half as both teams look to gain an ascendancy.
Here's Sam Mitchell addressing the Hawks. They trail by 4 points. They trailed by 22 at quarter time and 34 points at the 8-minute mark of that second term. But third quarters have been a strength for Hawthorn and a weakness for Collingwood. The Pies yet to return to the playing arena. Hawthorn 7-2 in third quarters this season. Just lost the first quarter in round 1 to Sydney and then last week by a point. Whereas Collingwood, well, they've lost their last 6 third quarters, been outscored 24 goals to 11 in that time. They need to come back out and show the intensity they showed at the opening bounce, Sean.
That's exactly right. Their first quarter was just brilliant in that area, and once you fall off, you allow the opposition, who might have a lot more classier players in the middle of the ground, to use their foot skills. And I talk to players like Hodge, Bateman, those types of players. We know Mitchell does it by hand. And also Everett, I thought, was important that last 15 minutes. He missed a goal, hit the post with a shot on goal, which he normally does get, but he made space. So we'll just have to see how Spider Everett sees out this game and what impact he has in this third quarter. But they need to lift their tackling and their pressure again, the Pies.
Schroeder, the Pies have got one of two options. They either negate Hawthorn's dominance around the clearances or negate the damage done by the Hawthorn midfielders when they win the ball away from the clearances.
Yeah, look, I think in that first quarter we saw it was very evident for everybody to see the pressure they put on across their half-forward line, which restricts Hawthorn. That's where they've got so much run and creativity off half-back through the likes of Mitchell, Crawford, Hodge, so on and so forth. But, look, really at the end of the day, Alan Junior's got a great quote, Tony. We've got it, they've got it, and it's in dispute. Win more of the ball, give yourself a good opportunity to kick us a winning score this afternoon.
Did Alan Jeans have a patent on that? Because I've heard it by a few coaches. I don't know whether he started that one. It might have got back a bit earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not as old as you, Tony, obviously,
about
so you might be able to tell me.
They've all done the rounds, those quotes. Don't worry about that. But they all ring true. That's why they survive through the generations. The Hawks haven't won 3 in a row since the last 4 games. They're on a 4-game winning streak at the end of 2003. That's the charter in front of them this afternoon. They trail by 4 points. It's been a ripping first half. We can only hope the second half is every bit as entertaining.
I like this now because Jonathan Hay, I think it happened about 10 minutes ago in the second quarter. Jonathan Hay on Tarrant and Crow on Travis Cloke.
Plenty of niggle in this game. There has been all afternoon. Third quarter action at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Round 10. Collingwood lead by 4 points. Fraser against Everett. Everett again. Clean hands down to Mitchell. A bit happening off the ball between Lewis and Holland. Umpires picked out a free kick. It's going the way of the Pies. Holland the beneficiary. Collingwood would love to seize back the momentum. O'Brien. Clement bursting through. Caught one high late. The first tackle actually stuck. It was a magnificent tackle. Crawford came in as the second man in. Vandenberg stuck the first tackle because Clement was charging through. And there it was. From Crawford came in late and offended. The first tackle was an absolute ripper.
Not a lot on, and it's on behind play too. Just about 10 metres away from this kick of James Clement. We can see the numbers of players there.
He's booted 1-1 for the season, Clement. This for a great start for the Pies. He's tugged it across the face. Everett's got the height. Is it a free kick to Tarrant? No, it's not. Collingwood fans calling for it. Everett short to the back pocket and finds Hodge. Hodge to Crawford. That's 3 of the 4 big names for the Hawks. Throw in Mitchell. You've got the awesome foursome. O'Brien picked it off. Cloak. Awkward kick. Everett again got a hand on it. Lurking is Egan. Oh, Everett. A vital win, that one. Egan was like Quicksilver, ready to just engulf that football and whisk it away for a goal. Mitchell's got little to kick to. Holds it up. We'll go to the percentage play down the line in front of Dixon. We'll have a throw in forward of the wing for Hawthorn on the southern stand side. Chris Egan was a split second away from running into an open goal.
Well, I spoke about Spider Everett. His last 15 minutes of second quarter was very telling. What about that sort of play then? Very mobile. He's a fantastic player, Spider Everett, and I think he hasn't got the credit, even though he's one of best and fairest at Hawthorn, that he's due in the football world.
Another free kick off the ball.
Against Jordan Lewis again.
Well, it's happening off the ball, isn't it? This is where the Hawks are just got to watch their discipline, because that let them down in the first quarter.
Absolutely right, Tony. Couple of goals from some undisciplined play in that first time for Hawthorn. Clement. There's Wakeman wide. O'Brien breaks. Play intercepts that. He's got Scott Burns short if he wants.
Sammy Mitchell's got the job with O'Brien, but now what's happened? They've split their forwards, Collingwood, and that means Hay is playing on O'Brien to help out. Should be a tall target for the Pies up forward.
Wakeman gets it back from Burns. Oh, the kick off the side of the boot. It's not a pretty looking football. Bounces just inside the boundary line and we'll have a throw in.
I think you set your scene, don't you? And I thought they said it last week, Collingwood, the style of play they played to get the West Coast. They came out in the first quarter. What we've seen early in this third quarter, I do not like the way that they're bringing the ball forward.
Paul Licuria only the one possession so far in this match. He normally accumulates the ball. He's a player that can give the Collingwood side a spark. And there he is.
Mentioned they've lost. Sorry, Schwatter, they've lost their last 6 third quarters, Collingwood. We saw it last week as well that they were flat in the third quarter, and that's when West Coast got back into the game and got in front.
It's a big day out in anyone's stretch of the imagination. 37 possessions for Paul Licuria against Hawthorn, round 16, 2001. Crow in heavy traffic towards Campbell Brown. Somehow got it to Clark on his hands and knees, to Mitchell. Stood in the tackle, did well, to Lewis. Switches play.
He had to switch.
Play on's the call. Boot touched off the ball. Ball touched off the boot, or should have said. The kick comes out from Crawford and finds Tim Clark. I've loved this kid's game today, Tony Shaw.
Oh, well done. He'll set another shot up on goal. And I've loved it too, Wayne, because I think it's a foreign role to him today to play nearly as a permanent half-forward flanker. I don't know whether he went to someone to tag him, but he's just set up 3 or 4 shots on goal, maybe 3 goals. And he's just had an influence. The one thing about him, he's a great athlete, so you know that he can give you a mobile half-forward target.
Ben Dixon has the 1 goal. This to put the Hawks back in front since the 11-minute mark of the first quarter. Will kick from 45 metres. It's a lovely-looking kick. He doesn't even worry about what the umpire does. It's a goal. The Hawks are on the board and they've got the lead back. He has 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you look at players with the influence on a game, Tim Clark, have a look at his possessions, and he hasn't had the ball a super amount of time. He's had it 10 times in the game as a half-forward flanker. And he knows that he's not a great shot on goal, not a great kick, and that's why he tries to pass off as many times as he gets the ball. But he's doing his role perfectly in this game, and Dixon, who's always been a very good kick on goal, finishes off. The Pies have to kick a goal. I don't know, Jason, you're the stats man here. When was the last time that they kicked a goal, the Pies, before Hawthorn had kicked so many before half-time?
Came at the 3.5-minute mark of the second term.
Gee, that's nearly a quarter.
Since then, Hawthorn have booted the last 6. Everett to Mitchell. Reese. Osborne. Hawthorn hunting in numbers now. Crawford. They've got to sniff the Hawks. Inside 50, Williams out on the lead. Big test for the Pies here. They've come out flat again after half-time. And Hawthorn ready to make them pay.
I don't know if you can remember back, boys, but a bloke called Billy Goggett and Polly Farmer had one of the greatest understandings on the football field. If Everett and Mitchell are not getting close to that in AFL football at this period in time, I don't know what is, because they have just been sensational, their clearances. And I think the new ruck rule allows you to have set plays of where you want to hit the ball, and it doesn't allow congestion to stop the play of Mitchell's talent.
Coming into today, they were the number 3 ranked ruck rover combination in the league.
Who's number 2 and 1? I'd love to know that, because
Dean Cox and Chad Fletcher.
Very good.
Here's Mitchell. 40 metres out. There's the angle. He is the executioner. He's got 4. Clinical in his finishing skill. And the Hawks extend their lead to a match high, a game high for them, 8 points. We've played 6.5 in the third. Collingwood need to dig deep.
Have they given Mark Williams a nickname yet? They used to call him, what was it, when he had the rifleman, but he's given that away because people thought he was getting a bit big-headed. He's got every reason to have a big head now, but maybe the execution, I like that, Jason. He is a beautiful kick for goal, isn't he? And the thing he doesn't do, he doesn't kick the ball super hard. If he's a long way out, he'll just try and make sure it gets over the top of the goal umpire's head, because that's all you need to kick a goal. Don't have to kick it into the crowd.
The executioner, you heard it live right here on Fox Footy. Beautiful work. Again, this time to Lewis from Everett. Crawford dropped the ball. High ball now. Hodge in front should take the mark, and he does. They seem to have all the answers at the moment, Tony. They've got players into space. Collingwood reaction at the moment. Bateman. Here we go. Hawthorn. Well, take your pick. Crawford. Mitchell's there, and Smith's broken. The former skipper.
Everett.
Long ball towards Spider. Gave away the free kick. Was a terrific mark, though. The big man, he doesn't like it. We loved it. But he gave away the free kick. Collingwood still camped inside the defensive 50. And Brodie Holland finds James Clement. 8 points of margin in favour of Hawthorn. Licuria.
Yeah, pressure's caused this with Collingwood. This is the way they were playing prior to last week. Just the pressure has made them chip around, go wide. And look at this. Now, they've got to try and find a way of taking risks. You don't want to go, you're going to go under, do it taking risks, trying to get the ball back in the corridor, but very similar to what's happened all year, except for last week.
Here's the Peter Everett contest. Free kick was paid for the sling.
All he had to do was hold his position there because James Clement wasn't watching the ball.
Back live on centre wing. We'll have another bounce. Stan Alves calls them glorious mistakes, Tony. If you're going to make mistakes, make them glorious ones. Make them positive as opposed to being negative and still making errors.
Well, you'll make the highlights real anyway.
Everett wins the tap. Picked off by Burns. That's important for the Pies. They've got to start winning some ball around the stoppages. Maxwell off a step. Skews towards the line. Brown tried to make the play, but it opens the door for Caracella. Collingwood a chance now. Need a goal to steady. Holland inside 50. Osborne flew off his hands. Cloak did enough to get a little piece of boot on it and avoid a free kick.
Oh, look at the switch.
Reese to Bateman. There is a nest of Hawks heading south. Mitchell. Crowd can go outside to Brennan. Draws the man. Does exactly that. Brennan over the top to Crowd, who kept running. Good build-up from the Hawks. Inside 50. Great effort from Wakeland. He could see it happening. Just had to get the legs to get him there.
Well, what a great switch. Look, they're taking some chances. How can the midfielders of Hawthorn be on the outer side of the ground when Collingwood have got it on the other side? And well done, Clark was the target. Well done to Wakeland. He held it up. This is crunch time for the Magpies.
Super rearguard action that from Wakeland. Fraser tries to make something happen. Vandenberg went in head first. Umpire said he had the head down. He'll call for a bounce as we take a look at the leading stat getters. Some big numbers there, as we've mentioned. Discount some of those. It's what you're doing with them today that matters. But certainly since quarter time, what Sam Mitchell and Shane Crawford have been doing with it has mattered. Reese over the top. Went looking for Lewis. O'Brien went looking for the boundary and found it.
I don't know what Collingwood needs some speed in the middle of the ground. Now, I don't know whether Reece Shaw's playing off halfback, but he has got that. Whether you can throw him onto the ball and give him someone to run the lines, they need some speed. They've got Burns, Lockyer, players who haven't got that leg speed at the moment.
Collingwood's last goal came 6 minutes into the second term through Tarrant. Since then, it's been 7 in a row to the Hawks. Dixon, Lewis, inside 50. Williams couldn't quite on the half volley. Wakeland stands tall for the Pies. Holland under pressure. Dixon almost executed a smothered effect of the kick nonetheless. No talk. Brennan hauled it in. Hodge at ground level. Snaps towards the goal square. Getting back is Wakeland to save the day again for the Pies. They are having to work overtime in defence. Maxwell out in front of Lockyer. Collingwood needs some run and flow, some creativity off half-back. Fraser works down the line for him. Lockyer didn't like the option. Switches inboard, tries to create through the corridor. Holland's got O'Brien, he's got Burns, he goes to the ladder. They link up now, here's O'Brien in the middle of the ground. Has to throw the handball wide, it was a Hail Mary pass. Clement got rid of it just in time, but the turnover comes through Crawford.
And he had an option further up the ground, which was Lance Franklin. If it stays in, he's away. He's got 5 yards. But fortunately for Collingwood, the ball wins that race. Buddy has a breather, but it's all Hawthorn here at the moment.
The dam wall is about to burst unless Collingwood makes some changes. And again, I think leg speed in the middle of the ground, they need it because they're getting beaten one-on-one.
Everett Lewis slipped at the vital moment, follows up some work, got a handball, short one to Van den Berg to Clark, wrapped up in a good tackle. Is it holding the ball? It hasn't come out yet. Yes, it is.
They've been hot, but it's been consistent today, Wayne. That's all you can ask for.
That doesn't mean I agree with it, Jason.
That is hot.
Trying to find a positive.
Well, what can you do?
Taylor on replacing Everett.
I think it's a good rule, but some of the interpretation has to be made properly. On that occasion, no.
Swan,
player's man.
To Lucuria, to Lockyer.
Oh.
Well, the kick comes off the side of the boot, straight down the throat of Luke Hodge. Paid the mark or won the free kick nonetheless. It's a mark. Carosella arriving late.
He's the one player you don't want loose across halfback, Wayne, and that's what's happening with Hawthorn, the way they set it up. Look at Mitchell. Is that Mitchell?
Osborne can go to Crawford. Hawthorn finding space at will now. The former skipper drills the pass to Buddy. Got his hands on the ball, actually ran under it. Clement around the corner. Swan will have to sit. Arriving late was Osborne, but Swan, great courage. He's away now. Over the top to Lockyer. Comes back inboard to O'Brien. Important kick, Shane O'Brien. Towards Tarrant with Hay. Ball goes over the head of both players. Loose ball. Carosella, one way, has time. Steadies. Does he kick the goal? Yes! 7 straight to Hawthorn. Carosella kicks his third, but more importantly, kicks the first and the third quarter for the Collingwood side.
Well, what an understatement to say they needed that goal, but Carosella, silky skills again. As the ball came in, Swan coming off half back, comes through the wing, handball to Lockyer, still throwing the ball around under pressure, and O'Brien in the marking contest. Carosella, Tarrant and Hay at ground level just pushes Campbell-Brown off, and one step. Good players finish like that off one step. Pretty hard to do if you're not talented.
It's just what you need, though, for Collingwood. It's a goal, really, that's come against the flow of play.
As I said, it's an understatement to say they needed to get back in the game.
Just lost him in traffic there, Blake Carosella. Very, very clever. Fraser in the ruck against Taylor. Got it down to Lewis. The youngsters combine. Mitchell harassed by Didak. Play on the call. Crawford's give was slick to Osborne. Now Clark. Clark will pump it inside 50. Williams will have to get this on the bounce. Awkward one. It went straight to Presty. Off a step. Brennan stand tall for Hawthorn. Did well and took the mark.
Gee, that's a good mark.
Collingwood trying to raise themselves and rally at the moment. Crawford hands off to Roughhead. Lewis ridden by Holland. Ducked the head. Umpire said free kick nonetheless. Jordan Lewis having an influence. 11th possession coming up. It's been impressive under pressure. Bateman. Maxwell punches it away from Dixon. He's got 2 to beat. Maxwell missed with the first opportunity. Put it on the boot the second time around. Bateman attacked it, got an awkward bounce. Holland tried to get it to Burns. It was a low percentage play. Crawford, Van den Berg, couple of players down behind the play. Inside 50. Dixon couldn't hang on. Clark's wrapped up by Presty. The Collingwood defence working overtime, doing a wonderful job to keep in the game at the moment. Chance Bateman gets up sore.
Well, you know why Chance Bateman got up sore? Because he put his head over the ball twice, and they were half volleys, and he just ran hard at the contact.
Mitchell, the best in the business. Reads it off the pack like a book.
Chance Bateman coming from the ground. Great roving by Sam Mitchell. 25 possessions at the moment. His clearances have just been brilliant out of the centre bounces. On that occasion, he's carrying his arm there, Chance Bateman. Not a good sign for Hawthorn.
You've got to love Sam Mitchell. He's a traditional football player. There's so much emphasis now with recruiters and clubs to find athletes. You don't have to be quick, because if you can find the football, you're still a valuable player to this side.
Great. It's a great story because he's got a football brain. He keeps at the contest. His leg speed's a problem, but he knows how to position himself to make it not a major issue.
It's a sixth sense he has, isn't it? Hasn't quite got that understanding with Ben Dixon on the celebrations yet, but they're working on it.
You missed a high five?
Somehow I don't think we'll
chest
see
to
it.
chest.
His first goal for the afternoon's his first goal in season 2005, Sam Mitchell. Fraser and Taylor. O'Brien gets the ball out of the centre square. It's a high ball towards Tarrant. Got a hand on it. Travis Cloak, good tackle by Hodge. Hawks with the numbers, one of which is Jonathan Hay. No advantage, it'll come back.
Advantage, no advantage. Blake Carousella stood out at the forward, but they need Tarrant, Travis Cloak to stand up now. They need a marking option in their forward line, Collingwood, so that's an area they have to improve. Didak's gone out of the game.
Mercuria running with Sam Mitchell. You've got Brodie Holland tagging Shane Crawford, who's resting up at half forward now.
Mercuria just 3 possessions, by the way. We haven't spoken about him, and that's why.
Dangerous kick.
Well, Lewis ran Lockyer under the ball. As we have a look at the Chance Bateman incident that's now seeing him off the ground. That right shoulder heavily strapped.
It might have been just prior to that when he ran hard at the ball at ground level.
Fraser manhandled Taylor. Oh, Sam Mitchell doing what he wants at the moment. Sam Mitchell, another clearance. And a terrific educated kick which sees the ball gain an extra 30 yards. We'll have a throw in outer side of the ground. The Hawks are enjoying an 8-point margin.
But there's been a look of intentional on that kick. Who was he kicking the ball to on the wing in the crowd?
That rule doesn't exist anymore,
Doesn't exist,
Tony,
does it? Okay, I'm not sure.
Paul Mercuria, we mentioned 3 possessions, averaging 26 a game. They've got to get his influence into the game. The Magpies in close, because at the moment the likes of Mitchell, Vandenberg, Hodge and Crawford very good around the middle, and this man's been great. Clark to Everett, Ladson running forward of the football, inside 50, Williams over the top, getting back numbers there for the Pies. Holland had to bang it on the boot quickly. Chance for Ben Johnson, if it sits for him. He's got 2 coming at him. Crawford steaming across hard to force a contest. Well done, Shane Crawford. Got it to the line.
I tell you what, that is captaincy without the title. That's exactly what it's about, example setting. And well done to Shane Crawford.
Hawks have got the appetite for it since early in the second term. Throw in. Everett up at the top, got the tap down. Picked off by Johnson. Handball to Holland. Flips it over the top. Swan. Lockyer. Collingwood trying to manufacture some spark. Holland run down. O'Brien under pressure. Morrison. Awkward kick going forward. Gave Tarrant little opportunity with a couple to beat at ground level. Arriving late was Carousella. The tackle was important. The handball missed the body at Cloak. Free kick.
Free kick to Tarrant.
Over the shoulder, coming back to Tarrant. It's bounced through for a goal.
No advantage.
It will come back.
Chad Morrison's had 6 possessions and he had the job on Luke Hodge. Somehow Hawthorn have got Luke Hodge loose across half back. You have to man up Luke Hodge. He's too good a player to allow that space.
He's up to 20 possessions, Hodge.
Don't know about this. Might have to be a torpedo, Chris Tarrant, if he's not going to set up a pass for someone else.
Can only assume it was being slung after he got rid of it. There didn't seem to be a lot in that. Can Tarrant capitalise? They need this one from inside the centre circle. Gives it everything. It's right to the line. It's home. Great kick. Tarrant's got 2. He gave it everything he had. And Tarrant lifts the Pies. They punch back. Margin back to 2 points as we hit time on in the 3rd term.
Gee, I just didn't think he'd make the distance with a drop punt. Let's see what happens with this. Crow, the quick handball to Hay. Tarrant's got the ball, and gee, I wonder whether he thought that it was across the shoulder in the first instance.
Kind of looked like it was deceptive because of where he grabbed him on the jumper, but it actually wasn't. Probably shouldn't have been a free kick.
That is a long kick, because Chris Tarrant, not a very reliable kick for goal normally, but just got onto that one very well. And look, they're back in the game. You just wonder whether the Hawks, has it taken a lot out of them after what they were down in that first quarter and the start of the second quarter to get back in the game? How much will that take out of their run?
Everett, Mitchell again. This is a training drill out of the centre square for Hawthorn at the moment. Delivers the pass on the stretch. Brennan, terrific mark. The Hawks have responded to every challenge the Collingwood side have laid down at the moment. Everett on the stretch will go towards his gun full forward. It's a wonderful weighted kick. And Mark Williams got himself into some space there, but At 6 foot 28 inches, Spider Everett, is there anyone that height, Tony, that's got the skills that that big man possesses?
I love Spider Everett. I just love the way you can see Bateman running into the room, so he might be injected in that shoulder to make sure he can play in the last quarter. But they took chances again because Luke Brennan centred the ball. It didn't hit the target. It goes to Everett at ground level, and he set up Williams. So what it does, getting it from the congested side of the ground to the other side, they do it in 2 kicks.
He has 4, this for 5 to equal his 5 goals he kicked last week. Mark Williams just does not miss. He's got 5.
Is that a soft kick, Wayne? Can I ask you, the way he comes in, he doesn't drill the ball, he just controls the ball?
I'd just say it's routine, Tony. You hear the great full forwards of past eras and current day. You've got a routine and you stick to it. It doesn't matter what it looks like.
I agree.
If he persists with the same routine, invariably Mark Williams kicks what he's paid to kick.
If he's an executioner, Tony, he squeezes the trigger. He doesn't pump it. He just squeezes the trigger.
Beautiful, Jason. You are working beautifully today. But we know who he is because he hasn't got a hood over his head.
Yet.
They'd love to mask him at the moment, the Magpies.
Oh, would they what?
He's booted 5. Hawks lead by 8 points. Just over 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd term.
You just wonder whether to get past, I think this has been equal to the best lead they've had, the Hawks, whether another goal might just be the psychological thing to get them across the line in this game.
Pies,
and the centre bounces are killing the Pies.
Lewis out in front of Clark. Punched away by Shaw. Roughhead slid in, took possession and fed it off. Did well to Vandenberg from 55. Hawthorn irresistible at the moment. Ordinary kick. Was unbalanced as he made contact. Sails over and out. Here's Glenn Manton.
Interesting to see James Clement move on to Mitchell now. Simon Prestigiacomo paying the price for 5 goals, which I don't think directly came from his bad play.
So what can the Pies manufacture from here? Loping away through defensive 50.
Falling down at centre forward, the Pies.
Rowe rather. Long kick. Tarrant couldn't hang on.
Free kick.
Over the shoulder in the marking contest, says umpire Darren Goldsby.
He's working Jonathan Hay up the ground. Chris Tarrant, this is where he doesn't like to be. He likes to come out of the square.
Contact made with the side of the head. Tarrant inside 50. Caracella gets on the end of it, just clears that contest. At the back, Egan floats across the ground. From the angle, Egan across the face. Hodge cuts it off. They want to switch.
Oh, someone's got to man this man up. He has just had too much impact on the game, Sam Mitchell.
Up to 28 touches. Personal best of 36. He's on the way. Hay over to Everett. Another who's cutting them up at the moment. Handball inside, almost with disdain, despite the pressure. Reese now under the pump. Collingwood hunting in numbers. It's what they did well early. Could be a big play. Swan gives it up. And Brown will take it to the line. They just need something like that to inspire them, Shorey.
And they got the turnover, but they just didn't make the most of it. And Campbell Brown disguised that very well as he took it over the boundary line.
Pies in a similar position to last week. They led at half-time. Last week it was West Coast coming over the top in the 3rd quarter. This time it's Hawthorn. They were good enough to rally last week, Collingwood. Can they rise again here? Rowe. Slung, great tackle by Reese. Ball jarred free. Hodge gathers inside the line. Penetrating kick down the line to Clark. Again, couldn't quite hang on. Shaw, Maxwell doesn't want to drag it in, so he paddles to Presti. High kick straight to Everett, and the Hawks can set up. Thinks about the switch. Wants to go long to Osborne. Instead he'll go short. Lewis, Smith steps around Caracella. Now it'll end up with Osborne. Got there in the end. He can go over the top to Crode. Trent Crode can gather and go from 65. Here's Williams. Acrobatic. But Clement tied it up. Wants the line. O'Brien will get it there. Gee, they've stood tall in this 3rd term, Collingwood. It's been an onslaught, and so many times the ball's been coming inside 50 under little to no pressure, and they've had to stand up. 13-7 the inside 50s this quarter.
Look at the effort. Gee, he could have done himself damage to his neck or his shoulder, then Mark Williams, but it just shows even as a full forward, desperate to make sure all the works from upfield's rewarded.
The Hawks full of running. Didak against Crawford. Holland. Handball to no one in particular. Osborne put his body on the line. Another player that does that, the skipper, Vandenberg to Mitchell. Needs to be quick. Good pressure, Caracella. Lockyer got it to Holland. Kick comes out towards Rowe. The big Spider's in pursuit. Well, he couldn't control it like he did earlier in that third term. Rowe up to it on this occasion, towards Tarrant. Hay got a one-handed attempt on it, couldn't take the mark. Brown put his body on the line. It's Willing out there. Oh, dangerous handball. Crow. Carosella got it to Egan, to Didak. Didak, goals!
They've lifted the tempo, Collingwood, in the last 5 minutes.
They haven't got goals that have come easily. It's been ugly, but still they're persisting with it. And against the flow of traffic like Hawthorn have basically dominated this third term as Chris Egan makes his way to the bench. Still able to hang in there.
Oh, look, as I said, that was an important goal because I think we'd have gone to the margin of 14 points. Psychologically, it would have been hard for the Pies to get over that. But they just keep working at Chris Egan, nearly dropped his dacks there or lost his dacks. But Didak just on the end of it. He's had a good game. He's kicked his 3 goals, which would be his quota he'd want. He'd want a couple more in the last quarter to make sure the Pies might win this game.
As we said at half-time, Tony, the momentum's got to turn before it shows on the scoreboard. Collingwood have just started to turn it a little bit the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, they have. And the thing about it, I said, how much has it taken out of the Hawks to get back to this position after they're 34 points down?
Set for a ripping final term. Do not go away. Another fantastic contest. Didak run down by Osborne. Great tackle. Campbell-Brown gathers the crumbs. Goes long to the wing, puts it out in front of Brennan. The youngster continues to present. 9th possession, 6 mark for him. Inboard to Crode. Wants to switch. Got a man on in the middle. It's Mitchell for possession 30. Hands it off. Smith left it behind. But the numbers there for Hawthorn. It was 3-on-1. Mitchell again. Inside 50. Hodge working back. Got it.
Oh, great courage. Great courage. You know that kick was for Williams, and he didn't worry about it. He had a look to see if Williams was going to get there. Thought he might have struggled. But Luke Hodge, no doubt about putting his body on the line. And Mitchell, again, the handball didn't work. He butted up and got this one and set up goal. Collingwood have to get someone onto him and just say, look, stop him from having an influence. Man on man, don't leave his side.
31 possessions for Mitchell, including 12 in this third term, and 4 clearances. The ball's with Luke Hodge. Kicked 4 goals, 4 coming into today. He's kicked 1-1 this afternoon. This is an important kick to re-establish a little buffer.
Hard kicks for a left footer.
As we head to 3/4 time, Hodge.
But when you're classy, yeah. Missed it there.
1-2 to Luke Hodge. The margin 3 points. What a treat. 2 weeks in a row we've had fantastic games here at the MCG on Saturday afternoon football.
Have we what?
Trust you're enjoying this one right around Australia. What's not to enjoy? It's a great game.
Reece Shaw. Wakeland. Morrison, he pushed on. Good work. Rewarded with the kick from Wakeland. Minute and a half remaining third term. Magpies trail by 3 points. Licuria. They need more from this man. He's been a wonderful player since crossing from Sydney, Paul Licuria. High ball, getting back Everett. Round with the flight of the ball. Carosella, the beneficiary. Easy as you like. And the Magpies have got the lead back. Carosella has 4.
I think I called 10 minutes into the second quarter, just before they started to get back in the game to Hawthorn, that Campbell-Brown wasn't the player to play on Blake Carosella. What he does is he watches the ball too much. Carosella's a player who will take you into the contest and go backpedal away from the contest. Let's have a look what happens here. There it is, his man, Campbell-Brown, in at the contest, and he just keeps his feet knowing that, gee, there's 5 people in that pack. Why do I have to be in there? Too smart.
4 to Carosella. Pies back in front. We sensed the momentum was turning.
Oh,
sure enough, they've converted it.
Look at that. That's great, isn't it? Campbell-Brown, knowing he's under the pump, he's had 4 goals kicked against him, trying to get physical with Blake Carosella, and Blake just gave him a smile and said, oh, well, if I kick 2 in the last and I win the game for us.
Fraser against Everett. This game continues to build. Hodge wrapped up by Morrison.
Reminds me of a former Collingwood captain.
Bit yappy, was he?
Oh,
Lou Richards?
Yeah.
Lou Richards.
They're probably after him, Tony.
Let's head down to Glenn Manton.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Sam Mitchell come off and Chance Bateman back on, so that shoulder doesn't appear to be a problem.
Extended break for Sam Mitchell. He's earned it. Vandenberg got it forward. It was fortuitous. Rees, time for one more. Can the Hawks snatch back the lead inside 50? Shaw did well, punched it away, picked up by Clark. Snaps at goal, will miss everything. It'll head to the line. with 28 seconds left on the clock.
Ooh, that's why Tim Clark likes to set up on goal.
He knows an opportunity went begging there. Still a chance for Hawthorn to hit the front. Getting very gloomy here at the G. The lights will be on shortly, you would think. Chance for one more for Hawthorn, and the psychological edge to lead it. Three-quarter time. Taylor wrapped up. It was a wonderful tackle because the big man was away, and Crawford soccers and misses. They almost manufactured off the back of the contest. Simon Taylor was heading goalward. It was a great tackle, brought him down. And the Pies just need to hold here with 16 seconds remaining.
And Wayne, what about the kick-outs? The Hawks have gone with man-on-man all game. You don't see it very often these days.
Lockie did well. Got it to Reece Shaw. It was a good setup from the Pies. Lucuria has to get into the game. Lewis beats him again. Rusling to try and corral him and hold him up. It might be enough. It will be enough. The siren will sound as Lucuria puts boot to ball. Three-quarter time at the G, and it is set up magnificently. It's been a game of swinging momentum yet again. Collingwood by 22 points at quarter time, by 34 at the 8-minute mark of the second term before Hawthorn stormed back. It was 4 points the margin at half-time, and now at three-quarter time, just 2 points the margin. In that quarter, Collingwood adding 4 goals straight. The Hawks adding 4 goals too. Carousella with 4 for the Pies. Didak has 3, Tarrant 2. Whilst for Hawthorn, Mark Williams has 5 goals, Dixon has 2. And at three-quarter time at the MCG, as Mick Malthouse comes out to address the troops, Collingwood 12-3-75, Hawthorn 11-7-73. Wonderful opening 3 quarters. No reason to think that the last will be any different.
Well, in general play, you thought the Hawks dominated, but the Pies just got a couple of goals against the flow, and it keeps them in this game. This game was 1 goal from being over, I thought, with the Hawks.
Set for a ripping final term. Don't go away. Back with all the action right here on Fox Footy.
Coming up after the game, stay with Fox Footy Channel for more Saturday Central with Jason Dunstall and Wayne Carey. The boys have more highlights and studio guests and a look at...
Sunday, Collingwood 12-3-75. Hawthorn 11-7-73. The Pies by 22 at the first change, 4 at the second, and just 2 points as we head for what should be an epic final term. Mark Williams, 5 goals for Hawthorn, whilst Carousella has 4 for the Magpies as we head down to Glen Mountain boundary side.
Thank you, Jason. Both coaches during three-quarter time really relying on their assistants to go over the whiteboard time and time again. Both huddles were tight, and I can only imagine that Collingwood are looking for answers for Sam Mitchell and Hawthorn are looking for ways to keep the ante up.
You get the feeling, gentlemen, watching this game, that it's going to be a case of Hawthorn getting first hands on the football. Collingwood's going to have to win it off them in the last term. But we are set for an absolute ripper of a final quarter. One other game of round 10 action on this afternoon at Skilled Stadium. Replay scheduled later on tonight on Fox Footy. So if you don't want to know the score between Geelong and Fremantle, look away now. Hawthorn have dominated the stoppages most of the afternoon. It was 12-8 in that third term. Sam Mitchell with 12 possessions for the quarter. What do you think, Shorey? It's delicately poised. As I mentioned, Hawthorn are getting first use. Collingwood are going to have to scrap. It's going to be a fascinating last 30 minutes.
They've got to either just stabilise the contest underneath the packs and the centre bouncers. If they can do that, Collingwood, they can stay in the game. But if they dominate Hawthorn, you just think they might have too much run for Collingwood in this last quarter. But, gee, great game this side. Will it take what they've done to get back in the game after being 34 points down? Will that have taken a fair bit out of the Hawks?
This game deserves a grandstand finish. Are we in for one? It's the Pies by 2 points as we start the last term. Good sign for Collingwood. Fraser got the tap. Down to Swan. Hodge bursting off half-back.
Oh, good bar.
Great grab. Brennan again.
Hasn't he been impressive?
Shown plenty. Wants to play on. Pushes off Wakeland. Goes deep to the pocket. Tough to kick them from there. Pitches just inside the line. We'll have a throw in.
Just lost. Look, I've been very impressed with Luke Brennan, but lost control then. All he had to do was get back and try and pinpoint someone. Wanted to give a handball off to Crawford, who was probably calling the ball when he shouldn't have been in that position.
They set up Everett versus Fraser. Fraser goes to the double-hander looking for Holland. Crawford there to scrap with him. Will wrap him up. Have a bounce.
Let's see where they can get some space. Let's have a look at the centre corridor. And looks like Brennan's moving away from that area there. See what Everett does on this occasion towards goal. There it is.
Beautiful tap to Reese to the top of the square. Franklin versus Presti. Couldn't quite haul it in. Good awareness from Holland. The handball was a bit ordinary. Under enormous pressure now. Lucuria, can he get it through? Franklin and over the top. Gone! It's been a dirty day for Paul Lucuria. Just 5 touches. You have to go back to round 8 of 2001 for a single-figure game from him. And Lance Franklin, buddy to put the Hawks back in front.
Well, after he hoped he should kick this goal, I would believe, from this distance. And they've paid that. They've been aggressive on that, haven't they, Wayne? But they've been consistent. I think it didn't give enough time for the player going for the ball, but still, that's the way they paid it today.
Hawks back in front. Franklin gets his second. And this game takes another twist. Collingwood fans disgruntled. Paul Lucuria bleeding. It was pretty red hot. As we've said a couple of times, it's been red hot all day.
What about the setup, though? We called it. What were they going to set up? Was it going back in the corridor? As I said, it was good play by Brennan to get out of the space. And here it is. No, who was it? Rees.
Yep.
Yeah, Rees. Nick Rees ran onto it. He was the man who got space. And they just kept at it. And Franklin here, we'll have a look. What do you think here, Wayne? You call it. There's, he's taken the ball under. Gee, he could have been over his shoulder. How do you not get a free kick?
How's he supposed to get out of there? I know you're supposed to attempt to, but when you can't even get your hands anywhere near the footy, it's pretty hard.
That's a tackle over the shoulder, so that takes the free kick before you get caught for holding the ball.
Well, I concur, Tony Shaw. I couldn't agree with you anymore. Enough said. Back in the middle, Mitchell. He's brought his own Sharon Sam Mitchell out of that centre square setup. Kick goes out wide towards Lewis. He lost his footing, but the Hawks have the numbers. Bateman will go to Shane Crawford in front of Lockyer. Can go backwards. He's got loose players. Dangerous kick. Osborne will need to get there quick. Hodge.
Great handball.
Long looping handball. That's a wonderful handball to Brown. He's got a teammate further afield there. That's Ladson. They go deep inside forward. 50 to Williams. Got his hands on it. Couldn't take it on the second attempt. Cleaning up is Clement. Kicks to Rowe. And for the moment, the Pies, they relieve. Goes up towards Travis Cloak. Hay getting there. The ball had too much on it. Bouncing ball. Caracella doesn't worry about picking it up. Kicks it off the ground, but only as far as Joel Smith and the Hawthorn side have numbers right across the other side of the ground, one of which is Lewis.
Russian roulette footy at the moment. Both sides taking a chance and committing, over-committing at times and opening it up for the opposition. Bateman down the line. Johnson corrals him wide. Kick off the chest of Maxwell. Wasn't aware it was coming at him. Shaw, Wakeland, Lockyer. It'll sit up. Here comes Mitchell. Great grab from Holland. Stood tall and took a strong mark. Hands off to Lockyer, through the middle of the ground. Chips it wide. Had to be tied in, it was. He's got Dane Swan on centre wing.
Luke Hodge still a loose man in defence for Hawthorn. You can see him standing right in the middle of the screen by himself, right there.
Over the top to Lockyer, Caracella, Cloak and Tarrant all inside 50 as the targets.
That's why they've chipped it wide.
There's a lead, you see it there. We'll go further afield. Was looking for Caracella. They got numbers back, and there's that man Hodge you were speaking about.
Have to man him up. He's too good a player to allow to be free across halfback.
Up the middle of Ladson. They switched wide. It was a terrible kick. It was great pressure from the Collingwood forward to chase. Ladson just heard the footsteps as he was about to kick it and didn't realise he had as much time as he thought. Fraser. Maxwell. Again, they look to set up. Tarrant. A half lead in that direction. It goes in that area. Brown off his hands. Hodge again off half back. Handball to Everett. He'll look up and see Collingwood jumpers everywhere, so he'll go back inboard. They'll look to switch play. Brown, it's an effective switch. Bateman can now come wide to Lewis. Gives it to Smith. And now the ball ends up with Jordan Lewis down the line. What's he got? Crawford works hard to the wing and presents. Great hard run from Shane Crawford.
The ball moving from both ends of the ground very quickly.
You pick that up,
one side, out the other, Tony.
They have to be patient now because both sides have got numbers behind the ball, and the switch will be on most occasions.
Smith ran himself into the tackle of Travis Cloak. Play onto the call. Crawford gets back and mops up. Has Reese. Holland there. Good spoil, Brodie Holland. Stays in the contest, keeps his feet. Terrific play. Handballs to Lockyer. Wants to draw the player. Goes over to Ben Johnson now. Important kick. Tips the ball up. Travis Cloak will have to wait. Takes the mark. Still a long way from home. He's a thumping kick normally, Travis Cloak.
No one to kick to.
Wouldn't they love to have an Anthony Rocker Kent in that goal square? That won't happen for a while for Collingwood. Decides to go long and high towards the goal square. Tarrant, Hodge outnumbered. Too many numbers there for Hawthorn. And here they go again. Big Spider's got himself into some space. He's got some support. He's told to go. He can have another bounce now. Now we can go over the top. There's a whistle on play.
Ran too far.
Well, there you go.
Oh. It's all happening now, isn't it? We have seen the twists and turns in this game. Both sides are at it. They look like they're both out on their feet.
More twists and turns than an Agatha Christie novel. Lucuria, can he get involved? 6 touch inside 50. Rusling's there. Carosella! Not quite. Lewis to tidy up. It's a hot football at the moment. Pressure telling on both teams. Franklin, Crode, pokes it out wide to Bateman. He can go for a run down the wing. Chance Bateman looks up. Runners in support. Osborne cuts inboard. Goes inside 50. Williams and Clements.
Oh, great contest. They have to win the one-on-ones if you're going to remain in the game. And James Clement going to Williams. Fantastic mark.
Will go long, spotted a mismatch. Bateman was caught underneath it, did very, very well to get back free kick. But held it up. It was an important one to give away nonetheless. Presti can go over the top. Holland kept running. Franklin fell off the back of him. Brody Holland's got some time. Steps inside Franklin. Goes inside 50. Lockyer lurks at the back of the contest. Carosella couldn't get it down. Hay, handball to Crawford. Along the line, gains some territory and finds it.
What a great game. We've just seen the ball flow from 50-metre arc to 50-metre arc. One side who gets a forward who can take a contested mark inside 50, that could be the difference in this result.
Collingwood inject Chris Egan back into the game. We saw he was an important ingredient in tight last week. Holland commits, as does Mitchell. Umpire hovers and will call for a bounce just outside 50 for the Pies. Hawthorn by 4 points, 8.5 minutes gone, final term. Wonderful contest at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Here's Wayne Schwass.
Fraser and Everett. Mitchell does his own ruck work. Got it to Bateman. He has done that with regular monotony. Bateman switches play. Brennan, like this young man's game. Kick to no one in particular, but space. Will the ball go out? Yes. And as it goes out, we'll throw down to Glenn Manton.
Just a question for Tony Shaw. We've got Dane Swan picking up Sam Mitchell. Is this a good matchup?
Look, I don't think he can run with him. He looks like he's struggling now. They're going to this contest and Dane Swan's got his sock down, Glenn, so I would say no.
Danny Jacobs on for Luke Hodge. Hawthorn. Lower chain of handballs. Reese towards Dixon on the half volley. Good pickup, great pickup to Ladson. Towards Williams, he gets in front of Clement. Good spoil, follows up his good work, and James is away. Through the middle of the ground, he's got Lucuria. Can go over the top now to Lockyer, to O'Brien. Egan in the middle. Chain of handballs for Collingwood on this occasion. O'Brien's bereft of options further up the ground. He has to stop and wait. Now he decides to go onto the wrong side of the body. Towards Tarrant. Coming through there was a Hawthorn player, Campbell Brown. It's Osborne. He's still down on the ground. Didak towards a loose player. Lets it go round. The Pies have got one. He has 4. And on Didak. But more importantly for Collingwood, they've got the lead.
Well, Osborne has gone in hard this afternoon. He's been fierce at contest. He hurt himself in that one.
Gee, I don't know. You call that courageous. Now, Osborne here, why do you go? And you've got a clip behind the ear, but why do you go when you've got 2 players 2-on-2 and allow this player, his opponent to stay down at ground level? Carosella and Didak are the 2 players who are going to win the game for Collingwood if they get across the line. Sometimes you've got to be smarter than trying to be courageous all the time.
The biggest one-on-one in this game for the rest of the afternoon may well be Clement versus Williams as we head down to Glenn Manton.
I think the issue for Michael Osborne is that he doesn't build his game each week. He doesn't do the simple things early, which makes doing the fancy things late a very difficult proposition.
That's a good point, Glenn.
Collingwood by 2 points. Another twist in the tail. Everett, but it was shark by O'Brien. Got foot to ball quickly. Bounces towards Didak. Off the boot of Morrison. Reese farmed it out, picked off by O'Brien. Suddenly Collingwood have got a sniff. Momentum with the Pies. Lockyer. Didac peels off again to get another kick from 55 inside to Fraser. Collingwood got the run at the moment. Expect Hawthorn to come back at them. It's been the MO for the entire afternoon. It's ebbed and flowed. And Josh Fraser a chance to kick his second goal and give Collingwood an 8-point buffer.
Well, just as we said, a couple of contests in the centre bounces. Could they even that area where Hawthorn have been dominant? And I think they've done that early in this quarter. So big kick here from Josh Fraser.
You can see the task in front of him, and he handles it magnificently. Fraser gets his second. The Pies slip away to an 8-point lead at the 11.5-minute mark of the final term at the G.
Oh, look, this has just been a magnificent contest. And the Pies, who were challenged last week and did exactly the same, but O'Brien's had a lot of the ball, 24 possessions. He just gets under the guard, doesn't he? He doesn't handballs a lot, doesn't kick very often. But Josh Fraser got forward on Spider Everett then, and just a fantastic finish.
We spoke about the importance of clearances in the final term. Collingwood have pretty much broken even in that area now, which gives them a fighting chance.
First use of the ball out of that centre circle and centre square, all important. Josh Fraser with his second. We've got what one of our colleagues calls a belter. Everett down to his favourite go-to man, Mitchell. Couldn't get his hands on the ball completely. Osborne hurriedly bouncing ball favours Wakeland. Roughhead in pursuit. Lumping along there was Spider, but Wakeland was up to the task and strode away and delivered a nice short kick towards Rowe.
There's another one-on-one that Wakeland won, and they are the difference. Clement's one-on-one and Wakeland's in.
Rowe's kick lets him down. Crowd got a hand on it. We'll have a throw in out of sight of the ground. Collingwood 8 points in front, 10.5 minutes remaining, fourth quarter.
Hodges back on the ground too.
It's about this time last week Collingwood made their move against West Coast, and they're just circling to do the same thing here.
There's no doubt about it, this is the best game in the world. Momentum, you can't measure it, but it changes the course of a football match. Collingwood down and out, they respond. It's now at the feet of Hawthorn. Vandenberg, what can the skipper do? The crowd thought he ran too far. Maxwell escorts the ball over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in.
I know what he can't do. He can't kick left foot. He was running that quick, he couldn't balance on his left foot. We know he doesn't like the kick on his non-preferred.
Lights are on at the G. These two sides have been lighting it up all afternoon. Fraser and Everett. Fraser at the front. Vandenberg hunts it down. Read it beautifully off the hands. Swings it inboard. Reshaw in position. It clears the contest. Reshaw did well. Ducked around the back. Got there first. Wakeland versus Williams. The Hawk will have the edge in foot speed. He's got a couple to beat, however. Wakeland committed his body. Shaw did well, used the numbers. Clement's been mighty in this final term. Across the body to Lucuria, couldn't quite. It's been that sort of day. He punches the ground in disgust. Just trying to impose himself on the game, Paul Lucuria.
I know Paul Lucuria, he would be filthy on that, but hasn't had a great day, but he knows it was a crucial mark. But look, those things happen. He's a fantastic competitor, Paul Lucuria.
Halfway through the final term, the Pies by 8 points. Fraser back to the line. We'll do it again.
Three things happen here. The trip back from West Coast. Sorry, from Perth.
Yep.
The other thing, 34 points down. How much do you expand getting back into the game? And Spider Everett, just don't know. He's been so brilliant all game. Will it tell in the end?
Got a tap again. O'Brien read it off his hands. He's done it a couple of times, and it's been crucial in the final term. Hodge looks up, goes inboard. Such as the knife edge this game's been played on. One goal either way can change things so dramatically. Osborne run down again. Collingwood just ferocious. Didac to Terrence. And this game has been as much about doing the right thing when you haven't got the football as it has been when you have got the ball.
Well, it has, and Michael Osborne, I just think at times he's got limited ability at times, and he just thinks he can do a little bit more to set up. You know, he's a tough player, he's hard at it, but gee, sometimes you've got to be smarter under enormous pressure, and he hasn't done it today.
Tarrant to land a telling blow. Awful kick. Just scrapes in for a minor score. He'd be disappointed with that. Hawthorn breathe again. 9 points the margin.
Where's the run going to come from for Hawthorn? I saw Chance Bateman was off the ground. I thought he was giving him a little bit of drive in the first 5 minutes.
Joel Smith with the kicking in duties. Collingwood with a heavy flood. You can see what's in front of him. There's no options wide and available. So he'll go short to Osman in the back pocket. Has the option to get out clause down the line and uses it to Ladson.
They'll try and switch.
Went to Vandenberg. Danger. Swan's outnumbered. Gets away from the first tackler. Stumbles. Keeps it alive inside the line. Switches it back. Well played, Dane Swan. Finds Caracella. 25 metres out. Slight angle. And it's been those pivotal contests throughout the afternoon where one side's committed themselves and it just hasn't come off as we head down to Glen Manton.
It's fitting to see the ball in Blake Caracella's hand, a player who should have been shut down in that first quarter, was allowed some freedom, allowed to build his confidence, and now has a chance to take the game to another level again.
Chance Bateman back on for the Hawks. Dane Swan kept his head. He didn't panic even when he stumbled to the line. Caracella to kick 5 for the second consecutive week. This could be telling. And he goes. It's far from over. Still got 7 3/4 minutes remaining. But the Pies by 15 points. Hawthorn will need to come up with something special from here.
Well, a bad switch. They've been doing it. And I think it was Ladston who kicked the ball across goal. You have to find your target. They've been taking risks all day, and that got them back in the game. Dane Swan, well done. Good poise here, looking into the corridor. And Caracella, I just believe he's been given too much latitude. And Glen Manton was right. You give a player like Caracella the confidence that's early in the game, it will continue for the whole game. And that's what he's done. He's kicked the goal in the first, second, third and fourth quarters. 5 goals up.
Wonderful player, Blake Caracella, a former bomber before he went to Brisbane. Now at Collingwood, and they've adopted him, and why not? 5 goals this afternoon. They go forward again, the Magpies. Didak runs with the flight of the ball, takes it terrifically. Well-judged mark. It's all Collingwood here at the moment. Still time for the Hawks if they're up to the task. Didak, short, Fraser, left it for Egan, or did he?
Gee, he moves beautifully, Chris Egan. Hasn't had an impact today, or a major impact, but gee, he moves well.
Goes towards the pocket. Cloak. Ball over the back of a pack of players. Cloak somehow got it, dribbles the ball forward. Bateman happy to see it over for a behind. So the margin now, 16 points, just over 7 minutes remaining. What can that man orchestrate?
That's what he's asking.
Just wonder whether they've got to set up when you're under pressure late in the quarter, you need goals. Do you go down the middle? Doesn't look like it. I thought Spider Everett might be a target.
Hodge goes short. The Hawks can get a goal. It's been that way this afternoon. You can just get one. One quickly becomes 2 or 3, and that's what they'll be hoping for here. They need some creativity. They've got to take the risk. They've got to try and switch. And Smith does to Everett. 49,927 in. Great crowd on a dodgy day weather-wise. Would have kept some away.
I think there's been 3 contests in this last quarter which have been telling. Clement playing at full-back, and then Wakeland's won 2 of the last he's been involved in.
Franklin may well have dislocated a finger as Johnson goes inside 50. Fraser, play on the call. Handball to Egan. He went towards the body of Johnson and missed it. Franklin slid in. Johnson did well to Egan. Across the face of goal. Collingwood have got numbers, and guess who? Lucuria. He's had a dirty day.
Oh, it's not
Goes
15.
short. Rowe, not 15. Rowe turns, snaps. Tarrant out of mid-air. What a goal! Chris Tarrant boots his 3rd. And the Pies look good things from here. They lead by 22 points as we hit time on in the final term.
Gee, amazing, isn't this game amazing? You'd say, and you said it, it's the greatest game on earth, AFL football, and I'm biased, totally biased, but we see what happens here. They get the ball. Chris Tarrant, smart thinking, just straight out of the air. Don't take it in your hands. He had one hand held, that's why he couldn't. But gee, well done. Very good football from a smart thinker at times. He hasn't had a great day, although to say that, he's kicked his 3 goals, so that might be enough for the set-up that Collingwood have got up forward. Match-winning goal.
Similar return to last week. Caracella 5, Didak's chipped in. Tarrant's got his 3.
Experienced players coming to the fore for the Magpies. Will this be their first back-to-back sequence of wins in season 2005 to kickstart their year? Fraser left it for O'Brien. Oh, Mitchell meets him hard. Play on's the call. Fair bump. And we'll have a bounce.
Spider Everett, you can see Spider's going up and down in the one spot now. You think you need a change. Maybe Simon Taylor. They haven't used him much. Get him on the ground because Fraser's having an impact.
Chris Tarrant, 3 goals, as we've said. Was met heavily in a marking contest as Michael Osborne came down. Went off the ground for a period. He's come back. Kicked 2 important goals in this second half. His side now enjoying a 22-point margin. Everett to Vandenberg. Well, that's not the quickest way home for the Hawks with 5.5 minutes remaining.
The similarity between this week and last week is
amazing.
Scary.
It is scary. And Williams has come off the ground, I think, and Taylor on. Don't know why you take your best full forward off the ground when you need to kick goals. I know it's late in the game. They might have given it away. Wouldn't hope so.
Mitchell gets the ball out to Crawford, to Franklin, to Ladson. Important kick towards Dixon. Too much on it and mopping up. He's been terrific in this fourth term. Clement gets it over to Didac. They're full of running now, Collingwood. Travis Cloak will want to play on. Needs to be quick. Lovely sidestep. Drills the ball inside forward 50. Hawthorn with the numbers on this occasion. Danny Jacobs.
Gee, they took Williams off and the next minute they come forward, had no one to kick to.
Clark. In comes Reece Shaw. Clark did well. Outnumbered. Odds told in the end. Fraser linked up with O'Brien. Back to Fraser. Chips it inboard. Awkward bounce for Lucuria. Look out. Run down by Franklin. Play on. Swan. Handball went looking for Clement. He wraps up Clark.
Great pressure.
Now you got me saying it. Clement. And we'll have a ball up in the middle of the ground.
Depends on what school you went to.
Well, it's Clement according to him.
Reservoir
That's
High.
good enough for me. Goldsby puts it down. Fraser the tap, picked off by Vandenberg. Johnson, Cloak, in tight to Fraser. Hawthorn trying to break free of the shackles here. Vandenberg wrapped up by Lockyer. Mitchell shrugs 1, shrugs 2, got boot to ball with great strength through the hips. Clement again off halfback. Has been important in the last term. He's been so influential. To Rowe. Spears it inside 50. Hodge will stand tall and pick it off. In fact, it was Roughhead. Gave it to Smith. Now to Taylor. The Hawks have been forced wide too much in this final term. Here's Swan again. Benefit through an awkward bounce. Gives it to Johnson. To shut the door, Ben Johnson. Bang! Consider it closed. Stirring stuff from the Magpies. For the second successive week, they have been challenged and they have stood up when it's mattered in the final term. The margin out to 28 points.
Well, we saw that kick and we just saw how it bounced for Simon Taylor, and that was Joel Smith. I have never seen him kick as bad as he has this day. I think it was 4 clangers to half-time. Swan's been a very good player, but Johnson then on the rebound. And look, this is a courageous win by the Magpies. They take chances all the time, Hawthorn, but if you don't hit the target, it's going to pay the other way. And this is a great win. In the end, it's become a very big win for the Magpies, 28 points.
Well, it'll be packed at Telstra Dome next week, Friday night, when they go up against the Cats. And they go forward again. Fraser running himself back into some form. Josh, what an important player. Rowe, he's been busy towards Tarrant. Well, the kick carried that couple of players there, and Blake Caracella, well, this is fitting. He already has 5. Will line up for number 6. If the last goal was the final nail in the coffin, he will bury the coffin this afternoon, Blake Caracella.
Young Rowe ran around the back for the handball, and Blake Caracella smiled at him and said, "You're going to be joking. I'm going to have a shot for my 6th goal." But he's been the difference when you talk that they haven't got Rocker in the side. Fraser, who plays forward, has been playing in the ruck and hasn't played a lot of football. But Didac, Caracella, they haven't been able to find matchups for him, and we said it very early in this game, Hawthorn.
His 5-2 was his best for his new side. This to eclipse that. Blake Caracella slides across the face of the goal. Won't make the difference. Hasn't gone through yet, but Jonathan Hay makes sure of that. his first blemish for the afternoon. He has 5 goals, 1, Blake Carosello. What a performance.
The good thing about this too, from the Magpies' point of view, is I think a lot of their senior players, Lucuria, Burns, Lockyer, they haven't been good on the day. They've been slaughtered at the stoppages and still win the game.
Jacobs to Joel Smith.
Let's see if he can use it efficiently here.
Magpie Army found their voice. Looking at back-to-back wins. We said at the start of the game, hope's the most powerful emotion in football. Well, 2 wins in a row. Great fortnight for the Woods, and suddenly a season that they were looking towards priority picks and consoling themselves with getting a couple of youngsters. Well, who knows? They might find themselves 1 game outside the top 8 by the end of the weekend. Remarkable. Smith has it, defensive 50. And the Hawks, for all their gallantry and gutsy performances in recent weeks, will be bitterly disappointed with this afternoon. Sets them back. Ladson down the line. Brennan has been a positive. He has been a shining light for the Hawks this afternoon. Has presented time and again. No free kick there. Comes up a bit disappointed.
And Luke Hodges pushed forward. Gee, they use him in a lot of positions. He looks like he's spent.
Taylor against Fraser. Dane Swan had some important touches in the final term. Lucuria to the wing. Travis Cloak attacks it. Coming the other way was Jacobs. Cloak hurt himself in that contest. Osborne, handball to Mitchell. Travis Cloak down on his haunches. Campbell Brown through the middle, almost got run down, blindsided. Gave it to Bateman. Twists and turns from 55. Goes for home. Reece Shaw gets back with desperation. There's Travis Cloak up and about. Got the wind knocked out of him there.
I'll tell you what, Mick Moldhouse would have loved the way that he attacked that ball, though. And Reece Shaw, you just see here, this is the desperation.
Would have known the goalpost was there somewhere. Courageous act. A lot gutsier than it may have looked, because you're heading in that area of the ground. You've just got to steel yourself, don't you, Tony?
Yeah.
You know the goalpost there somewhere, and if you go thundering into it head first like him, you could do some serious damage.
In a game that's been so tight, you said a couple of, not a great kick, and Franklin knocks it out. A couple of things that happened. Clement with his first, or James Clement, with his first contest against Williams in this quarter when he outmarked him, and then Wakeland twice. He had to beat his man. He's slower than his opponent, and he did that. And that really just turns the tide for you, and that's what's happening this quarter.
43 seconds remaining. Fanning against Taylor. The 2 youngsters go at it. Burns read it off the contest. Wrapped up. Good tackle by Ladson. Plays Pyland on top of it again. We'll have another bounce. 65 out from the Hawthorn goal.
What a season. It just also tightens the win-loss ratio between a number of sides, again, just outside the 8. So,
well, as we've said a couple of times, 10 wins in percentage might be enough to get you there this year. Who knows? It is so wide open. And the way the season's unfolding, you get there, you're a chance. No real standout teams in the competition. Not like recent years where you've had 1 or 2 that are clearly a cut above the rest. As Mitchell goes inside 50 and finds Tim Clark, and he's worked hard this afternoon, Tim Clark. He could finish with a goal here.
Great win.
Back-to-back wins for the Pies. Tim Clark to reduce the final margin. Kick on its way. And that just about sums up what's been a disappointing afternoon for the Hawks. They were brave, Hawthorn. Collingwood jumped them at the start. They mugged them with ferocious intensity. They got themselves out to a 34-point lead at the 8-minute mark of the second term. Hawthorn guts their way back. Collingwood responded, and for the second week in a row, a gritty final quarter effort, and ultimately a 28-point win. Blake Carosello finished with 5 for the Magpies. Alan Didak booted 4, Chris Tarrant 3. A very healthy looking forward line, a spread of options. 2 goals to Fraser, singles to Holland, Johnson and Travis Cloak. While for Hawthorn, Mark Williams booted 5 goals. 2 to Dixon, 2 to Franklin. Singles to Mitchell, Hodge, Reece. And one man who was so influential in the final term was James Clement. Here he is with Glenn Manton.
James, those old legs certainly held you in good stead in the last quarter.
Yeah, they did. It was a pleasing last quarter, but to give Hawthorn their due, I reckon it had a lot to do with them playing in the West last week, so they probably ran out a bit of puffing in there.
Well, they came out very hard early, and you really do think they ran out of steam towards the end. You didn't come over the top with a better game plan?
Yeah, look, I thought we played pretty well, but at the same time, I reckon for the place that they are on the ladder, they're a fantastic side, and we consider ourselves very fortunate today to have beaten them.
As acting captain, where to now for the Collingwood Football Club? How do you see the season unfolding now? People are saying bottom of the ladder, priority picks, etc., etc. They're starting to think maybe the 8 isn't that far away after all.
Well, as soon as you stop taking her off the 8, sort of where do you go for the season? So, look, we're looking at still playing finals and still developing young talent, and also playing the kind of football we've played for the last couple of weeks.
Well, one place you'll definitely want to go, mate, is into the rooms to sing the song. Thanks for your time.
Well, he's a wonderful leader on and off the field. He's as well spoken as any player in the competition, and showed this afternoon that the likes of Clement and Wakelin, they say it's hard to captain a side from full forward or full back, Tony, but when you've got the presence that those two gentlemen have in Wakelin and Clement, throw in Preston Giacomo, who's in form, almost all-Australian form, the three of those guys can lead Collingwood from the last line of defence.
Oh, look, I just love the way that James Clement goes about his football, the way that he, as you say, he's a good spokesman for the club and he is a leader. But gee, tonight, when he was really to be counted, it looks like tonight because it is darker this afternoon, he needed to be counted. He stood up in that last quarter, as did Shane Wakelin. Look, I really felt that it took a lot out of him to get back Hawthorn, to get back from 34 points down. You know, they have travelled interstate last week, so a number of things. And Spider Everett, I think they need to have a bit more faith in Simon Taylor to take a bit of the pressure off Spider Everett. And the other thing is, you think that Mark Williams, he's kicked his, how many did he kick again? 5?
Kicked 5, yep.
He's kicked 5. They need to get others, though, because if you play, if he kicks 5 and 6, you know that they're not going to have multiple goal scorers everywhere else. You're a chance of beating them if you keep the pressure on the midfield.
So a week's a long time in football, a fortnight's an eternity. Wayne, how things have changed for the Collingwood side in the last 2 weeks.
It is. You look at 16th against 12th today before this match, you would have thought, well, it might just be a game, but irrespective of game, this is just terrific.
Hope springs eternal, as we mentioned at the start of the broadcast, and for Collingwood, well, hasn't 2005 turned on its ear? That's what 2 wins can do back-to-back. Fantastic this afternoon. Early on, set it up. They led by 22 points at quarter-time. Just 4 points at half-time after leading by as much as 34. But, Tony, as we mentioned, that was significant in itself because Hawthorn spent a lot of gas just getting themselves back into the game. They got within 2 points at three-quarter time, but in that final term, Collingwood finished full of running. 5 goals 3 to 1 goal 1.
Well, I just thought it was a great win also, as I mentioned, through that last quarter. The thing about it was some of their senior players, Lucuria was quiet, Lockyer was quiet, Burns was quiet, you know, and also Johnson wasn't that good. You know, he had a number of possessions, but they were going sideways a lot. To have those players down, they just couldn't get a match-up Hawthorn with those medium-sized players like Carousella, Didac and Tarrant kicked his 3.
Yeah, look at the numbers. Johnson 10 possessions, Rowe 10, Lucuria 10, Morris and Burns just 7 apiece. But one of the healthy signs, Wayne Schwass, was the Collingwood forward line. Carousella 5, Didac 4, Tarrant 3, Fraser 2. To be successful in this competition, we know you have to have a spread of scoring options.
Absolutely, that was the difference in the end. You look at Hawthorn, they don't have that spread of goal kickers.
No.
I think that the story that really confirms statistics can be misleading. 58 more possessions to Hawthorn, yet they lose by 28 points. On the back of Mark Williams being their sole focus up forward, they've got to develop other players, and that's the thing that got Collingwood over the line this afternoon.
Probably a better stat, Tony, really, when you're analysing the game. Inside 50s, 48 to 46. It reflected that both sides had fair supply of the footy going forward, yet Collingwood were able to kick 17-6 to 12-8.
That's right, and the difference with the statistics that Wayne's talking about was, I think, in the first quarter, where Collingwood pressured that much that they had to throw the ball around Hawthorn. I think they had 35 more handballs. You know, if you do that, you know you're going to make mistakes, and that's where the game was set up for the Pies. But, gee, they'd be rapt to get back in it. Hawthorn, I still think they're a very good side. They're an emerging side. Both these teams playing a lot of youngsters, and they'd be happy with the way that they went about it today.
Performance level in footy, Wayne, is about two key elements. One is natural ability, and the second is application. Collingwood may not have the natural ability ready to go right now. Certainly there's lots of talent there, and give it a year or two, we'll be saying, gee, they're a very, very talented side. They've got some raw potential, but what they have shown the last 2 weeks is the application to more than compensate for it.
Look, any player that plays AFL football is good enough to play at this level, and sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but persistence is a key word in any side's performance. If you persist with things, trust in the game plan, trust in your coach and your coaching staff, things will turn around. As Tony said, the great thing is it's the kids today, along with Blake Carousella, that got them over the line with some help from some of the older players.
Almost a carbon copy of last week's game. It really was quite amazing for the Magpies. Let's talk about the Hawks. They came into the game 3-6. They're now 3-7. They've been playing better football than that to win just 3 of your first 10 games. That suggests that you're in trouble. But what about this afternoon's performance? You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, Shorey. They did show great signs. They showed great courage in fighting back. But at the end of the day, they're still 3-7.
I thought it was attitude. I thought they came to today's game thinking Collingwood are close to the bottom of the ladder, but they didn't play like that last week. And they have travelled. They came back. And there's no doubt they didn't look like they were hard enough. And Alistair Clarkson got to them a quarter time and gave them a nice old rev, and then they came out in the second quarter to show what they can do.
They struggled to hold him, didn't they?
Well, it was very early in the game when we said about Campbell Brown. The one thing about Campbell Brown and Michael Osborne is that they're great competitors. They'll have a dip, but they lose track of smart players. They'll go to the ball all the time. And Carousella, as I said, he'll go to the contest, but then he'll backpedal. So you take your man in, and he's a great player to pick. How many players are going at the marking contest? If there's 5 up like he does here, he'll just stay down. He knows, well, I don't need to go in there.
In the last 2 weeks, he's had 32 possessions and booted 10 goals too.
What a great return, isn't it?
Now, what a great pickup. He was taken at number 2 in the pre-season draft 2005.
And that's what he does also. He marks above his head a lot better than other players.
He's just so clever at finding space in traffic today. He was just outstanding. Again, we speak of the numbers. Need to be interpreted properly. Hawthorn had a lot of disposals under pressure. And you see there, look at the uncontested disposals. They had 86 more. That meant that really at times they were trying to switch. They were trying to create. They're trying to get some run going. Collingwood would be delighted to see the uncontested possessions. When it was tough nitty-gritty in there to be won, Collingwood did the job. Clearances in favour of Hawthorn was a very big factor, and we said at three-quarter time, if Collingwood could almost break even in close in the last quarter, they'd go a fair way to winning the game. That's how it panned out.
And that's what they did, and now we're going to see Alan Didek, those 2 players with a different, and that's not tough. That is ridiculous football from Michael Osborne, and he's got to be told and he's got to learn that if you want to do those sort of things, you won't last at AFL football. Here again, look, he dumps, nearly gets a free kick against him after the goal's kicked. I like the way he goes about it, but his aggression at times is going to be costly. You need to be better than that. And Didek's very similar to Carousella, a very smart player who knows to stay off the pack. And one thing he can do, kicks it a little bit better than Blake Carousella from long distance. Carousella bringing close to goal.
Well, Collingwood have sent a message to the competition in the last 2 weeks that you might have more ability than us, you might come in with better form, but we're going to make you earn it every time you come out the playoffs. If they can maintain that intensity, there's no reason why they can't shape or even make the finals in season.
Mother Bree and Clark keeps it moving.